Hey Cam, how are you? You're on mute.
I am great. How are you?
Good. We're gonna get
Still
started.
work,
Oh, go
still
ahead.
working on my homework. I said still working on my homework, and I sent the request for the documents
Did you you must have just sent it, huh?
within the last 10 minutes, yes.
Okay. Let me see. Yep, I see it here. You don't need the 5 to 8. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. Yes, this is the one. Okay, good. And we're gonna get started around 12:05. Got a couple texts of people who are getting in here. I see Melissa. So we'll get started in just a minute.
Okay.
Share that one. Hey Melissa, good to see you. We've got a couple other people still joining. We're going to get started right around 12:05, okay? All right, everybody, let's dive in. We got one other person who's going to be joining us. Penny messaged me and said that she wasn't able to get out of her meeting, so she's not going to be able to get on until about 12:30. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got everybody here who we can have on the call for now. Melissa, you still there?
Who?
Sorry, I'm here. Yeah, I had to move to get this phone, so I'm here.
Awesome. Yeah.
Hey, Alyssa.
How's it going?
Good, nice to see you.
Too. Let me get my
So,
charger so I can make sure I don't my battery doesn't die. But
great.
I'm ready for this. Super excited.
All right, so we're going to have
I'm all muted. I was
another.
saying good afternoon, everybody. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. We're gonna go around and everybody's gonna jump on the mic in a moment anyway. So we're gonna start today, like we start pretty much every one of these days. It's day three. We've had quite a bit of ground that we've covered, and I'm gonna pop our agenda here onto the screen. If y'all don't have your agenda open, you can open it so you have it on your side too. Every day, you can pop into your Google Calendar invite and see exactly what we are going to cover. These agendas are dynamic because every group moves at a different pace, and sometimes we lean in a little bit further in different areas, but you can see the day as plans here. So this is going to be what we cover today. We got a lot of ground. But I want to start by just talking through yesterday. We talked about customer avatar again in more detail. We talked about your offers and the specificity around that. I want to check in and just find out you've had another night's sleep. I don't know whether or not it was good, it was restful or not. You had a lot of work to do because I saw some of y'all in those documents late night. Just check in and let me know where you're at, what some of the biggest insights are for you in the program so far. What are the things that are on your mind? Just a check in. Kim, let's start with you.
How did I know you were going to do that? Um, that number one, and we talked about this yesterday. Number one, I'm not charging nearly enough for my offer. And I was putting too much into the program for what I was charging, and it's those are two very different things.
Yeah.
So I've been able to take out basically I've been able to form a foundation. So now the offer has a foundation and it also has an ascension ladder that I can funnel people into afterwards. The other thing that's been the biggest aha for me is defining I knew who my ideal client was, but I did not who my ideal client was not, and taking that information and taking a look at the other programs and services that I do have and finding out if the people who are not a fit for this offer, if they might be a fit for the other offers that I can offer them later on in the year. So those have been the biggest ones for me, and I can see how this program and separating things that the way you have, Thomas, I can see how I can have like continual rolling launches. So this month it may be this product. The month and a half after that it might be a different product and a different avatar. After that, and so I can see how I can maximize all of the work that I've already done and really not have to create too much more for like the next year and a half.
Yeah.
I
No,
have a lot of
really.
stuff that I don't have to create now.
These are really good insights, Kim. It's so alluring and it's kind of natural. We want to give as much value as we can, and so we jam all of this stuff into one offering and make it the first offering. And by doing that, what happens is we miss out on all of the money, number one, that's available by breaking the stuff up and giving them a clear, like step-by-step journey to take, where the first thing that we have them do is like a simple yes. We can make some money, but it also gets them to a clear and measurable outcome. And on the back of that outcome is the next program that's a perfect fit for where they're now at. And on the back of that next outcome is the perfect fit. So yeah, it does create that customer ascension journey. If we're trying to sell the whole thing all at one time, it's just a lot harder for the person to see themselves in the whole picture and say yes to that whole thing unless we've already got some relationship with them. So this is a faster way to sell. It's a more aligned way to sell, and you also get into the nuance of program by program, who's a fit for this thing, and they're not
Mhm.
quite ready for that thing. And sometimes you don't see it until you break those programs apart. So really good insights there.
Thank
Lynn,
Well, can I ask just around that for Kimberly at least, like
Mhm.
instead of it even being another launch and another launch, remember Anik even saying, "Oh my God, all you guys doing these launches over and over again," whatever. But what if some of that is upsells within her current thing, which adds even more to the kitty as far as dollar amounts?
well, the distinction
Um,
here, Lynn, like, if you don't mind me jumping in, the
mhm.
distinction between us talking about an upsell on a product, right? So, like when you're buying the 5-day ATM group training, then there's an opportunity to upsell into like maybe you want to buy the project management tracker for another couple $100. Maybe you want to buy the customer avatar workshop for 67 or 97, very distinct from selling an entire program, right? What we're talking about are whole programs that Kim has initially bundled into this one thing
Got it.
versus like the email program is an entire 1 or 2 day intensive. The social media thing is an entire 1 or 2 day intensive. Training your AI properly so that it can then produce that content is an entire 1 day intensive. Sure, she could do it all in one, but she's missing out on the opportunity to actually have those be separate things that gather their own momentum, have their own price points, and they're easier to understand when they're not all lumped in as one thing. All you do is devalue the big offer when you lump everything in.
Okay. All
Plus,
right.
I'm also thinking that the upsells go with the program. The program is geared towards a particular avatar. So if that's not the avatar for this
Uh,
program, then the upsells aren't going to be for the avatar either.
That's right.
got it.
That's
Got it.
right.
And
Got it.
also, I did a little mathematics last night, and I calculated just on the low end, I calculated how much money I've been leaving on the table, and I am absolutely disappointed with myself, but in a good way.
Yeah. Ah. Well, and I want to thank you, Kimberly, because I went in when I was, by the way, oh my God, I didn't finish till after 1 a.m. And, I had started at like 7 a.m. because I had the broadcast that I did before even we, so it was a long freaking day. And I'm coming out of burnout. So I'm like, okay, just try to manage. I don't go back into burnout.
Mhm.
But I'm really glad just because I'm committed. And also, this is such a, I'm just, I feel like this is a massive, this is personal now, but this is like a massive shift for me
Mm.
in that it is forcing me to make certain decisions in certain ways, forcing me to and it's coming at a perfect time with other things I've been working on. But and I don't want to take up time going in depth, but I'm just saying it is a big shift that I'm experiencing around what it's demonstrating to me is possible. Oh, it's forcing me to give up my perfectionism. I still have it, but it's not, I can't be stuck in it because it has made me so and the delays, so it is like this. The process is forcing me to get it done. Not that I'm a gal who gets it done, but it's just like it's done in different ways, and so this is really really important in that facet. And now as far as specifically in the offer. I'm excited about, I shifted. Basically now I've mapped out two different offers because I shifted. But it's because of the timing of where things are. And I there was something I was going to say about this. I may even do with this particular offer is say that I may not even do this again. Like this will, I mean, maybe I would if I partner with someone else and then they help scale what is getting created in that direction. Because I don't want to have to handle managing all that. I want to kind of focus more in on something else. But this is going to be a great leapfrog. And I'm seeing the value too of just going in there. I wish we could have our team because I struggled so much in ClickFunnels trying to figure out, Normally I have my team do all that stuff, and I'm in there trying to like figure out how to set the stuff up. But it's good, just like Domino's. I mean, I'm friends with was friends. He's no longer the CMO, but the CMO of Domino's. And in Domino's, you can't rise in the ranks unless you have done every job at the ground level. Then you can work your way up. So you want to be a manager, you have to have done every little job that you get to. And there's something about that, really understanding every little facet of it, and not just relying on team or relying on other facets. So I'm in the soup, and I'm excited. I'm learning, and uh, uh, I dare say appreciate the pressure. So so there we go.
Well, good. One of the key things that you spoke on, Lynn, that y'all are going to find in this process is there is no space in going through this process for just like, well, I could do this, or I could do that. I could. This process shaves away all of the like this or that. You're going to choose, or you're not going to make it. Like period, point blank. And you got to choose, and you got to choose, and you got to choose, and it gets more narrow and more narrow until the narrative around your offer, what the promise is, who the person you serve is, like everything is line item specific, or else you literally just won't make it through the program. And it is so uncomfortable if you're somebody like me. Like I built this program and everything I do for me because it's so difficult when you have so many good ideas. You want to get them all out. You want to talk to everybody and oh my God, the difference we can make in people's lives. They got to have it all. We want to get it all out, but the reality is we are not going to make the impact that we want unless we can talk to a particular customer in a specific moment in time who's dealing with a particular problem that they know what it is. They're searching for a solution. We can articulate the connection between our solution and that problem, and they can see that inside of a defined time frame, they know where they're going to get. This is the outcome, and they can see it. If we can't communicate that level of specificity and clarity, they're not going to separate from their money. We remain a nice to have, and we don't get to make that impact. And sometimes it feels kind of if you're looking at it not from the standpoint of how do I really make the impact with this person quickly, you can be in a narrative like, well, that feels very, what's the word? Abrupt. I feel like the conversation should be longer and we can get into the world of everything. But in reality, people are indifferent. People are indifferent about our offers, and they're actually indifferent about anything that is not moving them forward. So it's in respect to them and to us to make sure that we can get to clarity quickly on what is in it for them. And that's our job to do that work. I'm gonna be a broken record saying this over and over again. Melissa, so you're just joining us for the first time today, and I'm sure you haven't gotten a chance to get into all the stuff. I know you looked at some of the videos. What is present for you in going through the process so far? What's on your mind for today? Anything you're concerned or nervous about? Just what's present for you.
Well, I think this is just good listening in because I think for me, that getting specific about your offer, because in my mind, I have this conference next week. So now I'm thinking, is it my goal to pack out the seats on Saturday or because when you talk offer, some things might not be for that specific weekend, but what we have in general. So I think I've got to figure out because I would imagine since my time capacity is finally opened up today, so the next few days, I don't know. I always think Rome can be built overnight. So, I'm a sleepless person. I want to work 24/7. But I know, like you said, I got to get specific and leave all the other stuff away. And now that already blew my brain. So I'm like, okay.
No, great insights. I think over the course of the day, you'll get clear on what the offer for this particular campaign looks like. And I'm a fan of, even though we can't necessarily build Rome in a day, we can certainly model it in a day. And we can certainly sell the narrative of Rome in one day and get everybody excited about that so that we can fund the building. Like we can do that in one day and sell that narrative. So I'm all about that. All right, let's go ahead and get ready to dive in. I'm going to put our calendar invite back on screen. And for the first part of the day, today, I'm just going to go write down the calendar because there's a number of things I want to make sure that we cover. And on the back end, we're going to get back into offer again. We're going to make sure that we're getting to more and more clarity. But let me check really quick in our Google tracker. Okay, so I do not see links in here for Kimberly. Kim, have you created your buyer's room yet?
No, actually, in transparency, I did not get to do any of the homework last night, so I'm in the process of doing it now. But I'll do yesterday's homework and tonight's homework and make sure that all of that's done.
Got it.
Um,
So
but
don't worry about trying to
okay.
create your buyer's room while we're doing this. Get
Oh
to
no,
it.
after class. No,
Okay,
not well.
perfect.
No.
All right.
I thought
So
I changed that to completed.
okay. And Lynn, I see you got your buyer's room up. Good. And I'm not going to get into it now. We'll check it out later. I did scan your offer document and it looks substantially larger. So we're going
I
to need
just
to.
added some stuff at the end for me.
Yeah,
So
we'll look in as we go through the day a little bit later to make sure that we're getting to a point of like narrowing down to the specific thing for the specific person. I saw a number of different avatars, so it's going to be important to narrow to a person, a singular thing. So that's what I'm going to be listening from when I look into this later on today.
I
Uh,
may have a question about that, but we
we'll
can
get
kind of
into it
go.
in a little bit. Yeah, we'll get into it in a little bit. All right, so we're going to be talking through today hot list, your hot list versus your general list. We're going to talk through hot list outreach script. We're going to talk through your invitation overview video, and we will also get to testimonials, interviews, and case studies. And I'm pretty sure we're going to go through and give a high level on your communication campaign so we can start to get into that storytelling. So we got a lot of ground to cover, and I'm going to just be training on this stuff in the first probably hour and a half, maybe a little bit more, and then we'll do more work on your offer at the end. All right. Any high level questions, not in deep about your offer or anything like that, but any questions about what we're getting ready to cover, things you need to get out of the way before we dive in?
I guess, I mean, I don't have to necessarily get out of the way and we'll find out, but we're going to shoot the video tonight. That's part of the homework.
We'll cover all of that in
Okay.
terms of when I get to that section, okay? Any questions before we dive in about not about the stuff like details that we'll get into, but about what we got so far? Nope. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, gonna skip that part. Let's go right down to talk through environment already. All right, let's dive into the invitation announcement. After that, we'll go into the hot list. What's the wrong document? All right, if you guys will look in this section right here, it is column R in your Google Sheet tracker. Melissa, do you have access to this Google Sheet tracker?
Yeah, I'm working on downloading all the ones. Kathy had forwarded me all those because they were going to her email since she registered me. But I think I have that one now because I see a whole bunch of things that say shareable tracker. So I'm trying to download.
Okay, let me check the names in here and make sure that you're in here. What
And I do
what
have
is
a question, by the way,
what
when
is
you're
okay,
done.
just a moment. What is the email address, Melissa?
You could use Melissa Adakana versus Kathy Adakana.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, you are in here, I think. Let's see, you're gonna be an editor. Let me make sure that you've got edit privileges for this particular tab. At the bottom of this sheet, you're going to see different tabs for each cohort. You're going to click on cohort number 6.
Okay.
And let me make sure that you got the right privileges here. All right. So
Oh, here, it says
editing privileges. We're going to add you on here. This is Melissa at O'Connell. Okay. going on here? Oh, it doesn't let me add you for some reason. I don't know if this is a Gmail, like a Gmail thing we need access.
Well,
You got,
that's an email, so it's through GoDaddy. Do you want to send it to my Gmail?
maybe so. I don't know. Usually I can just add people, but yeah,
Right
let me add you on
now,
Gmail.
under my Soul Massage Chicago somehow. It's saying
SOLE or SOUL,
SOUL
Massage Chicago.
Chicago at Gmail. It looks like I'm in it right now.
Oh, you are? Okay. Well, I'm gonna need to whatever email address you're using that you're in it with, that's the one I'm gonna need to give you edit privileges.
If you listen for the door now. So yeah, the Soul Massage Chicago.
Okay,
Um, I'm in it now, so that's fine.
got it. All right, so I'll give that one edit privileges. Great. Now do me a favor and where it says, I'm gonna scroll over here. Change this is in the Facebook group from nothing to yes. I want to make sure you can edit this.
In the Facebook group, where
Now, right here. So look on screen and you'll see in column C here next to your name, Melissa Boston, this column that says in the Facebook group in column C, just change that to yes. I just want to make sure that you're able to edit.
let me just open that wider so I can see it. I see where you're at. Let's see. Yes. That's the first one because it's not telling me my name, but so yeah, I just put yes.
All right. I don't think you're here. Do me a favor, share your screen.
Share my screen.
Well, you should be able to share now.
Okay, so
All
in
right.
the
Scroll all the way to the left.
go to the left. Go to the left, right over here. Right,
Yeah.
first.
All the way to the left so you can see the names.
Okay.
So you see at the bottom there, notice that you're in the cohort that's like a template. Go to the one that says cohort 6. Click on that.
Cohort number 6 on.
Mhm. Right there at the bottom. Look at the tabs on the bottom.
Oh, right here. I got, yeah. So down here. So I need to
Yep.
scroll.
You're going the wrong way. 6.
1, 6.
Yep, right there.
Oh, right here. I got you.
Hmm.
Okay.
And then scroll down so you see your name, Melissa Boston, in this one.
I see it right there.
Yeah.
And then put yes here.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you can edit.
Okay.
Great. All right, you can now make sure that you put in your request to join the Facebook group. Do the homework and it'll give
I
you
did
the
that already.
All right, perfect. So I'll let you in when we get a break. All right, go ahead and stop sharing, and I'm going to come back on.
Stop sharing. Okay.
Now that I'm clear that everybody is in. Okay, ladies, we are going to dive back in. So go to your column R here where it says invitation overview video. And in row 4, this yellow row is where all of our templates are located. Okay, row 4, I am going to add each of your names so that you can access this, and then you're going to go ahead and open it up and make a copy, and then drop your URL copy into the Google Sheet Tracker. So let's add
Repeat
Lynn.
that. Sorry, can you repeat that? Drop something into the
All right, I'm gonna walk you through it, Lynn. So Lynn
okay.
knows now, right? And we also need to add Kim. So Kim, remind me of the one that you want. You're on mute. It's a Gmail, right? Is it Coach
Sorry,
Kim?
Coach Kimberly West, and I see you have my Onyx email address. That's probably what the mix-up was. But yeah, Coach Kimberly West at Gmail.
And then Melissa is going to be Soul Massage Chicago, if I remember. Soul Massage Chicago at Gmail.
So massage Chicago at gmail.com.
Perfect. All right. So I've added each of you. You each have the ability to view this document now. So go ahead and open it up. And then once it's open, you're going to hit File, Make a Copy. And you're going to edit the name when you do that. Put in your name, your first name, your last name, your offer name, and you'll save that in your Google Drive for this one. Melissa, I don't think you have a Google Drive yet set up for this, your Google folder, I mean. in your Google Drive, you're going to make sure you create a folder specifically for 5-day ATM. And that's where you're going to store all of your documents as we go through this program because they're going to start to add up quickly. And we don't want them
Download
like,
one from R. It says column R, that one there about the video.
yeah. So back to this column R here, row 4. R4 is where you're going to hit this and open this document up. You can see it on my screen. This is the document. And cell R4, that's what you're opening up. You can also just follow in the homework. So remember, I told y'all to open up your agenda. Right here in your agenda on page, let's insert page numbers. If you got the agenda open for the day, you can just click it right from the agenda and it's easier.
Yeah.
So this is page just 10. Yeah, page 10, right here, invitation announcement video script. Y'all see this? All right, let me know when y'all are done. File, make a copy, update the name and the title, and save it in your Google Drive folder. And once that's done, you're going to share the URL for that directly into the Google Sheet Tracker. It's a race to the finish. Kim and Lynn right there head and head. All right. So I think that y'all both done. Now remember, every time you share a document in the sheet, two things you need to do. Number one is you're going to give me edit privileges at stovall.t@gmail so that all times of the day and night, I can be in your document when I've got time and making edits. Number two, you're going to change the access from restricted to view all with the link so that anybody who's in the program can click it and see the document. Okay, so Kim, I believe that yours is still not shared with the right access just yet.
I'm doing it right now.
Perfect.
Can I ask while we're figuring that out, in the calendar stuff that I moved over to, it's the calendar detail, I didn't see this, because I saw elsewhere, but now something I'm looking at, Google Calendar detail, it says day 2 homework being the invitation announcement and hot list, and I hadn't seen that in the other thing I've been looking at for homework. I think that's meant to be day 3, correct? What
Well,
would,
not sure what you're looking at, but every day there is a different calendar agenda for that day. So make sure that on your calendar invite for day 3, you're not clicking and opening or referencing something from day 2. You're
so
going to
this,
open the calendar invite document for day 3. Each
it's in the
document
day
is
2
different.
planned, in day 2 planned, and then it goes into
What I want you
that.
to do, Lynn, is open up the calendar invite document for day 3.
So in other words, don't look at this, look at the calendar invite, okay, which is what I went off of, actually. That's why I was like, wait a
Do
minute,
me
I
a
didn't see
favor,
that
share your
one.
screen. Let's just get to the bottom of it.
Oh, I thought you had seen it, sorry.
No,
Uh,
because what I'm saying is reference day 3. It sounds like we're still confused. So let me just see your screen and see.
yeah, I'll just show
Let's
you.
go.
It said, let me just go back to it though, 1 second. Um,
So
it
again,
was,
the instruction is for each day, open up
right,
the calendar invite document. There's a different dot. So once we're no longer on day 2, I want you to not be looking at that one. I want you to go to day 3.
I understand. I'll just show you, just so you're aware. And it's totally fine. I was going off of the calendar, but then in this document,
Yeah.
um,
Only the stuff for actual. I'm aware that there's stuff at the bottom, right? And so on our call yesterday, I said only focus on the stuff that's in day 2 actual. You don't need to scroll all the way down.
okay, because that, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
cool. So
clear.
I did that. I just wanted to make sure I'm clear.
Got you.
Thank you.
All right. So Melissa,
My screen, I guess I was trying to click that button, but it's my screen is frozen. You want me to share and show you?
sure.
Mm.
All righty. So you must be trying to access this from a different email account. than the one that you just that I shared to you with.
But it's
So
massage.
uh,
This is not soul massage.
hit cancel.
Oh, hit cancel. But that's where it's froze somehow. It doesn't let me,
Gotcha. Can you just refresh?
let me try to refresh it.
Just try hitting Control R or something. Okay, let's go this way.
Okay.
Good. I think we're good to go there. All right. So what I want you to do is hit File, make a copy,
Hit
all the way to
file
the left.
and make a copy.
Make a copy. You're not going to request access. I'm not
Okay.
giving any of y'all access to edit my template.
Gotcha.
You will do file, make a copy. Uh, everywhere where it says like copy of, change that from copy of. Let's update the name. You're going to put your actual name. We're going to make sure naming convention is good. No, don't delete it all.
Yeah,
Just
put
the part where it says your first name, your last name. You're just going to type in like your first name and then your last name, and
okay.
then you type in the offer name.
Oh, my offer name. Okay. I'm just gonna put not have it yet. So, yeah. And then
Okay, at the beginning, delete the part where it says copy of. Y'all may wonder why I show this stuff on screen, why I just actually have people do it right here. You will be shocked to know the small things that keep us busy professionals and busy entrepreneurs from digging in. When we're trying to find something, we got an extra 10 minutes. Well, I can't find it. Forget it. I'll do it later. So sometimes it's just useful to make sure that everybody sees it. And where it says My Drive, click on My Drive. We're going to create a folder specifically for 5-day ATM. And so if you want to, so make sure that you're okay with anything that you click now, but you would need to go one folder in to all locations and then select click
folder it into all locations.
either all locations or My Drive. Either way, it's going to take you to the same
Okay.
place.
I
But
just
you're
like
gonna you're gonna double click in so that you can create a 5-day ATM folder.
okay.
That's what I'm saying. You're not making copy yet. You're going to
Okay.
hit My Drive. You're going to need to click into My Drive. So not the select. Double click.
Okay.
Then you'll hit the plus button at the bottom left. 5-day ATM. This is your folder for all things for this program from this point forward. Create. Great. And select here. Make a copy. All right, perfect. You can close out the original template now.
Okay. Close out this here.
Close out, no, not that one. The original template. That's
This,
nothing. Yeah, that one. That one there. That's the one you're gonna close. Okay, go to the share button, and you're gonna do this for every single document. You need to close that little thing that's over the top of your share button. Yeah. All right. Change the restricted to anybody with the link can view. Add me, stovall.t at Gmail, as an editor.
Stovall.t.
T, yep, at Gmail. All right. You're gonna give me edit privileges. Yep. Hit the
Okay.
little bottom, little link thing at the bottom left. So you got it copied. You hit it already?
I did.
Perfect. Now go ahead and hit send. Now you've given everybody in the program the ability to see it as soon as we drop the link in.
Oh,
Uh,
that's, oh,
your computer's not being very play nice with you today.
it's not. I don't know if it should be.
But we'll come back to that. Okay, good. Go back to your tracker.
Go back to the tracker.
Yeah, because you've already copied the link now. So go back to the tracker, the Google Sheet, the other
The
tab up there,
tab up here. Okay.
the other tab,
Oh,
the
you mean
Google Sheet. Yep. Drop your link in to your cell next to your name.
so drop that link I copied
Yep.
to my name. So I'm right
I'll
here.
give you a little pro
Right
tip.
on the which one? The R one?
It's going to be the column R. This is the special invitation video document. Column R. Keep going. Yep. There we go.
Drop it in.
Are you on a Mac or are you on a
Copy it. It's still that's the meeting ID. So yeah, it's something. It's I'm on a Mac, but I don't know. It's I think my they were telling me I need to do something. I got to have my IT person look at it. So I think something I downloaded kind of filled up my program. So
Got you. Okay. Well, we will come back around to that. Kim, I see that you and Lynn have got your document in there. Um, Melissa, it seems like you're just having a processing issue with your computer, like maybe it's just moving super slow. But on your screen, hit command and then the minus button, or just zoom out. However, what's your easy way to zoom? Some of these rows are frozen. It's going to be hard for you to see your screen if you don't zoom out some.
oh, zoom out some, gotcha.
So you can do that with hitting command and then the little minus button. That'll zoom you out.
Gotcha.
Or hit view, top left.
Oh, you went out some. Okay, there we
Yeah,
go.
zoom out so you can see your screen.
Okay. I can see it.
Okay, the rows are gonna be a little bit different, but as long as you're okay with it, that's fine. All right. You can stop sharing. We'll keep it moving. Y'all, I'm not leaving anybody behind. So I apologize. We do a little logistics from time to time to make sure everybody's good, but I would do the same for each of you. Just know that. All right. Now, I want y'all to be watching on your documents as I go through this. And actually, what I can do is work with one of y'all in real time. So, Kim, let's start with you. And I'm gonna open up your document and we'll do some editing on it in real time here. So, Kimberly West, invitation overview video. All right. The way that we start this campaign off is with a invitation overview video where we kind of give a high level that gets people excited about the offer. It gets them in the world of exactly who you are, what you've done, why this thing is a fit for them, but ultimately also why you're an authority, why they should even listen to you. So each of these templates, as we go through the program, you're gonna see a clearly modeled example always of what this looks like. This was a lady named Lois who was in one of my other 5-day ATMs. And you can see how quickly we get to a clear overview that is a compelling story. 5-day ATM is all about story, but it's process behind the story. So her story is first part is social proof, track record, background, authority. What makes you qualified in this area? I've been a mother for 45 years, a scientist for 35, and an educator for 29. When my youngest daughter was born with eczema and hyperpigmentation, I felt helpless. Doctors gave us creams that didn't work and only made things worse. Watching her struggle broke my heart. So we can see very quickly she's given us social proof track record and background around, she's got a skincare line, topicals and things like that for people dealing with skin issues. She's given us as a scientist and an educator what her background is, that she knows the stuff that she knows, but she also has told us as a mother, right, what her track record is of being able to demonstrate utilizing these skills to actually heal people close to her. So that's what all this is about. Now we move on to the passion purpose section. What's the origin moment where she decided to really do this thing as a business? Why does she care so much about this? And what did she create? I made it my mission to heal her naturally. Through research and trial and error, I found what worked. Her skin healed, her confidence grew, and I knew I had discovered something powerful. This is the origin moment where it went from just doing this thing for her daughter to being able to do this for lots of people. For over 3 decades, I've been creating skincare products and candles to help people with eczema, hyperpigmentation, psoriasis, and other conditions. My work is personal. It's about healing, restoring confidence, and giving people hope. And so we're talking about what she created and why she cares about this thing. All that is bundled up into a few sentences right here telling the whole story. This is all the passion. And last, we want to frame out the conditional invitation that we're going to be making. And in her case, I just opened up a private Facebook group for a special offer announcement I'm making on Black Friday, this date, this time. This offer will be unlike anything I've done before and will be available only for those in the group. The doors close at 8 a.m. that day. I'll go live on that day at 12 p.m., where I'll explain the special offer in detail and share how to get it. It will only be available until midnight on Black Friday. The group will also be deleted after that day. Click on this link or on this page to join the Facebook group today. See you on the inside. Notice we're not going into a bunch of detail telling what the offer is. We're not giving any detail about that. We've literally just laid out a context for the stuff that she's doing. She's selling topicals, she's selling cream, she's selling things that help people promote healing and wellness. And she's telling you why she's passionate about that. She's telling you her track record and that there's going to be some sort of special offer around that particular thing in this group. So if you're somebody who's been interested in that, you're going to say, I wonder what Lois is doing. I haven't seen her do something like this before. Let me peek in the group and see. That's our first step to that micro commitment. Our first level of scarcity is moving them into the group where they can only see the offer there. And we framed out already, it's going to close at 8 a.m. on the day of the offer. All right. So as we scroll down a little bit here, so, okay, you'll see the example final scripts. And everything that we do in 5-day ATM is built to be repurposed. We utilize the exact same script that we've got here in our expectation each setting email that goes out the Sunday before our campaign starts to let people know what they can expect over the next 5 days. So all of our scripts are written in a way where when they're read, they're a vivid story, but you can also use them literally as a teleprompter script and read them into a camera, and it will still be a vivid story. They're written like that way intentionally. So just keep that in mind. Everything gets used multiple times in this campaign. It's like Lego pieces. So now let's start scripting Kim's story below. We're going to do this in real time. And as I'm working with Kim, Lynn, and Melissa, I want y'all to be working on your stories in real time on your document. So Lynn and Melissa, do you have your documents open? Melissa,
I
you
have
got yours
it
open?
I have it open, but I wasn't working on it.
Well, you're not going to work on it until I show you. So you're going to be working on it in real time as I walk you through each of these pieces. Melissa, do you have your document open?
Yeah, the one that had yours, it says the one we just were trying to share with you, right? The same one.
The special offer invitation video script that you just added your name and stuff. This is the one I want you to have open, not the template, but your version. You got yours open?
Yeah, it's the one that I edited. It says special offer without the copy.
You said without the copy.
The one you want me to be in let me just find it here. You want me to go to the actual drive and pull it up fresh because I'm still on the Google Drive, but I'm in the one we edited it. And I
Yes. Yeah, this is your document now.
right.
All these documents are your individual documents for you to be editing for your campaign. All the templates are just to give you the starting place, but you're going to open these up and edit as we go through the campaign. And I'm not going to give you access before we're at that point in the campaign to avoid people getting confused.
Gotcha.
I just want to make sure you got this open and you're not just watching TV here. I want you working on this in real time as I'm giving y'all the coaching, and you'll
Right.
see me working with Kim.
Okay.
Penny, I see you just joined us. Go to column R inside of the document. Make your version of this template, edit it, save it in your Google Drive, drop the link in, and open it up. And you'll catch up to us. But I'm working with Kim on her story. Kim, you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I want you to tell me a little bit about in one or two sentences, what is your track record and your background that has you be a person who we should listen to in this particular area?
I've been a technologist for over 40 years, a business development consultant for over 30, and working with artificial intelligence for almost 10.
Wait a minute. Now I'm looking at a technologist for over 40 years. This math ain't math, and Kim, because I'm looking at you and I'm thinking you look about 40. How have you been in technology for 40 years? This doesn't make any sense. Y'all
Thomas,
black is not black.
I'm closer to 60 than I am 50.
I cannot believe this. I cannot believe it. You look fantastic. Oh,
Thank you.
I'm like,
You got to see my
this
mom.
make
My
no
mom's
sense.
younger than I am.
Wow, that's fantastic. Okay,
Thank
I've been a technologist for over 40 years, a business development consultant for over 30, and let me say I've worked with AI for almost 10. I feel like at the end of this should be something that caps this off. Um, I am not new.
Yeah, this is
Actually, you know what?
this is not my first rodeo.
Perfect. Yes. It's not my first rodeo. Okay. What makes you qualify in this area? All right. What kind of outcomes have you produced as it relates to AI? We've given a backdrop of you as a
Mhm.
technologist. We've introduced you in AI for 10 years. Now give me some measurables for yourself and or clients that you've been able to produce.
Okay.
Specific to this thing, right? Because we're doing an operations related
Hmm.
AI implementation. So specific to AI implementation of operations stuff, outcomes that have come from you helping people to get ops in place with AI around their marketing or their sales or their day-to-day process management, whatever that looks like.
In the past 2 years,
Okay.
over 30 entrepreneurs.
Just talk.
Okay, in the past 2 years, over 30 entrepreneurs have grown and scaled their businesses
Hmm.
using mm, using the processes that I've taught them, using the AI solutions, using the AI processes I've taught them. Hmm.
Here's what I want to do. I want to get to, and I saw the same thing inside of your offer document in the
Mhm.
new customer avatar area. We say things like scaling their business. We say things like processes in general. I want to get to specifics because this
Okay,
program is around emails, it's around social media, it's
right.
around like SOPs. So I want to say exactly the things that you've helped them to implement.
Okay, so let's go back to 30 entrepreneurs customize
Okay.
customize AI solutions to create content,
Okay.
automate posting. Well, I was like automate social media posting and marketing.
Okay.
And we need one more. We need a third one. And I've got my offer over here on the on my other screen.
Is there something
That's working
around
away.
um so are we gonna narrow in on content creation for this first one for like email and social media, or are you going to also do day-to-day workflow type of things?
Well, okay, you're right. So the first one is actually the initial is when they are customizing their AI. That's the first thing. And then we move into social media posting. And okay, marketing should be the end of that then.
Okay. So let me add a little bit of detail. The first thing that has to happen in order to have AI that produces content for you is you have to create the AI, whether you call it a ghostwriter or AI assistant, whatever that language is,
Their
that
AI
understands
assistant.
your knowledge base.
You're right. So they created their AI assistant.
Okay. Um,
And then we customize that. Yeah, okay, so we got the customized assistant. That assistant then goes and does their content creation, automates their social media posting, and automates their marketing.
okay. So content creation. And when you say content creation, I want to
Hmm.
I want to not just say that. I want to say the things that have been foundational because we're saying this stuff has helped them scale their businesses. So
Hmm.
what part of content creation has helped them to scale? What's been the most effective? And we're going to mention just a few things.
Okay. They're heightening they're raising their visibility by writing blogs,
Okay.
um, by consistently posting on social media.
Okay. Okay. So the customized
By lev
assistance,
Go
blogs,
ahead.
social media, posts.
Uh-huh.
What else?
LinkedIn articles.
Okay.
We do a lot of LinkedIn articles. We should say LinkedIn and Medium. They do a lot of LinkedIn and Medium articles.
Okay. All right. So let's go back for a second here.
Hmm.
Technologist for over 40 years, business development consultant for over 30, and I've worked with AI for almost 10. This is not my first rodeo. In the past 2 years, I've helped over 30 entrepreneurs. And what kind of entrepreneurs are these? Are these people who are
They're
like,
service and product based.
okay, are they mostly seasoned?
Yes, they are. They're experienced. They're not brand new.
Got it. Okay, so we've got are they when I think of entrepreneurs like people who are kind of solopreneurs, when I think of business owner, it's more like you got staff, you got systems. So which one are we speaking to?
Hmm.
Or are you
Let's speak to the solopreneurs.
okay, got it. So we're gonna say 30 seasoned entrepreneurs, um, um, automate, key processes in their business by customizing, by creating customized AI assistants that scaled their marketing outreach through um, uh, writing. Is this like industry specific blogs?
Industry specific blogs, industry specific articles. They've also, several of them have also written books using our
Hmm.
process.
Um, Writing industry specific blogs and articles, books. Um,
And social media content.
yeah, perfect. Social media content. Um, cover all this. Allowed, okay. Past 2 years, I've helped over 30 seasonal entrepreneurs automate key processes in their business, key marketing. Um, well, no, because we want to highlight marketing, but it's been more than marketing. So key processes in their business by creating customized assistants that first scale their marketing outreach through writing industry specific blogs, books, and social media content. It's really, um, it's really automated. How do we say that? Um,
And ultimately becoming known as a thought leader in their line of business, line of work.
what I'm trying to do is I am wanting us to communicate that you specialize in AI. We're
Hmm.
telling them about a use case where we have helped entrepreneurs or help seasoned entrepreneurs to utilize these AI assistants this way. I want to couch it in, but this is still all operations. So that's the language that I'm looking for.
Um,
Even though we're
okay.
doing marketing sales, we've operationalized the marketing outreach. So I'm just looking for where to insert that language. I've helped.
Actually, ultimately operationalizing, we can create a new word.
Operationalizing um, their
or ultimately streamlining their operations,
uh,
facets of their office operations, but streamlining their operations.
business by creating customized AI assistants that um,
Mm,
let me read this.
yeah, I'm reading. Like reading.
Past two
It
years.
doesn't grab me.
No, we're
I mean,
not.
it's factually correct. It's not grabbing me.
Yeah, we're not done yet. This is all
Okay.
we're just seeing how we're going to frame. Because what I want to frame is the numbers and the evidence. Do you have numbers for what this work has done? You know, when you think about all of them producing all these articles and blog posts, do you have
Mhm.
an idea of when you say scaled their marketing outreach, like what's been the result of this?
They've increased revenue. They've reduced the amount of time that they spend doing busy work, and they're able to spend more time with their families, or traveling or pursuing other things that they want to do. Those are the two big things that we track: is revenue and how much time you're getting back in your life.
Do you know for sure that the work that y'all have done in producing these AI assistants and them producing content that goes out and builds their authority, do you know for sure that they're like, no, we can see a line in sand where when we did this, it brought way more business inbound without us having to go and do as much tap dancing to get it in.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Do you have any sort of dollar amounts or percentages for the kind of revenue growth that they've seen?
Um, hmm. I can get it.
Okay. If you
But
had to,
I know one client in particular said that she raised her revenue by 20% in 1 month
got it.
while reducing the amount of time that she spent on social media by about 50%. I'll send out an email to my the rest of my clients today, with clients slash students today.
In the past 2 years, I've helped over 30 seasoned entrepreneurs grow their revenue by as much as 20% in a month while reducing their time spent on social media by as much as 50%. Um, One simple thing, automation. Well, it's not automation. It is um,
AI assisted
automated.
automation.
Yes, perfect. AI assisted automation. Um, their processes, plus marketing, sales, and what would you say? Like day to day project, day to day business management, or what?
Mhm. Exactly. The day-to-day business management.
All right, Kim, I want you to read this out loud. Ignore this other stuff down here. Read
Okay.
this part out loud, and we'll see how it lands.
Okay. I've been a technologist for over 40 years, a business development consultant for over 30, and I've worked with AI for almost 10. This is not my first rodeo. In the past 2 years, I've helped over 30 seasoned entrepreneurs grow their revenue by as much as 20% in a month while reducing their time spent on social media by as much as 50% with one simple thing: AI assisted automation of key processes across marketing, sales, and day to day business management.
All right. So for you, how does this land?
It lands better. There's something, wait, where is it?
What if she
While
just,
reducing their time spent on social media, either management, marketing, something, there feels like another
Mhm.
word needs to be in there because people spend time on social media just scrolling.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
they're social media,
marketing?
content creation, and um, creation. Wait. hold on.
that feels better. Creation. Okay.
Right. We're probably going to do some more work on this. We've got
Mhm.
enough meat on the bone for now to
Don't
move on to the next
delete that
section.
yet. I
Huh?
was gonna say, wait, I was gonna use some of that.
All good. All right, so we'll come back and we'll do more. I'm going to leave this
Can I offer
like
feedback just from hearing
red
it?
for now. Um, we're gonna just keep moving. If you want to grab document some feedback, Lynn, you've got access to this document. You can add a note to it or something if you want to leave something for Kim. But we're gonna keep
Okay.
moving just to keep the pace. And
Yep,
you be working on yours as well while we're doing this.
yeah, I have been. Mhm.
All right. So passion, purpose, Kim.
Yes.
Origin moment. Like, when was the moment where, so you've been studying this stuff for years, but there was something about 2 years ago where you're like, I can help other people with this. What was that moment where you saw something and you decided that you wanted to help others?
November of 2022,
Okay.
ChatGPT came out of the shadows where just people like egghead people like me had access to it and it went mainstream.
Okay. But what happened? There's like you could have just used that for you. When was the moment where you're like, oh my God, I gotta show people this
No,
stuff?
I'm about to go
Oh,
there.
got it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, November 2022, actually it was October 2022. But I saw since I had been and I'm just going to say this because I don't know how to put
Mhm.
it just yet.
Yeah.
Since I had already been working with artificial intelligence and I saw that ChatGPT went mainstream, I knew what was coming next and that this was about to begin to herald in a whole new era of efficiency for small and medium business because it wasn't just for scientists anymore.
Mm. All right, keep going.
Okay.
What had you want to give this to other people? That still is like an insight. Wow, this is for the world now. That doesn't mean that
Yeah.
you, Kim West, would have gone out and done something about it. Why did you want to go and take this to the world? What did you see? Or
I
when?
saw this as a way for small and medium businesses to become more efficient while reducing cost. But I also saw the danger in it because if small
Mm.
and medium businesses didn't harness the power of AI, they were going to get rolled over.
Had you seen anything that looked like that? Had you already started seeing signals of this
Mhm.
anyway? What? Tell me about that.
Large businesses who have the deep pockets to implement AI systems, um, like Amazon, for
Hmm.
example. Amazon's been using artificial intelligence for a long time. And they've used it basically to put other bookstores out of business. Mom and pop bookstores, Barnes and Noble, Borders Books. Now, Barnes and Noble isn't like a tiny business, but they did put a ridiculous number of local bookstores out of business. And they were able to do that because they had harnessed artificial intelligence before it went mainstream. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Should we talk about the women and minorities angle also?
Not unless you're only selling to women and minorities.
No, I'm not. Majority of my audience is are women and minorities, but okay, I'll leave that alone then.
Yeah, unless you only plan on selling to them, like what I do, because I have a very stated intent on making sure that underrepresented communities, particularly Black people, get access to the stuff that I teach. However,
Yeah.
there are plenty of folks from whatever background that buy my stuff. So similar to how if you're in a program that's led by a white person, typically you just see white people in the marketing, even though they don't say this for white people. Like when you see the pictures and
Hmm.
you see it just looks white. Well, I do the same thing if I want to make sure that Black people know that this is a program that is, here for you, and that makes sure you feel comfortable. None of my language is going to call out that, but my visuals will make it very clear that this is a room that is very comfortable for people of color.
Okay. I will use that then. I'll use it in the imagery.
All right, so November, let's go to this. What do we that? November 2022, Chat GPT. Do you remember what you were doing? Like when you first saw Chat GPT, do you remember the moment?
Actually, I first saw ChatGPT back in 2019,
No, no, no.
but
The moment when you
it wasn't
saw
what
it.
it was then. So
Yeah,
in October 2022, um, there was an article. There was an article that I saw, and it started talking about ChatGPT. And I have to, I who wrote the article? It was in one of the tech journals too.
got it.
Yeah, there's an article talking about Chat GPT, and back then you had to like with Manus now, you had to request access and wasn't easy to get into.
I'm gonna make you relatable here. Just I'm reading this nerdy tech journal,
Exactly.
this thing called Chat GPT that I've been hearing about for a few years now. No, I'm reading this nerdy tech journal. Um, and it talks about, and there's this article about this thing called ChatGPT that I've been hearing about for a few years now, but it's different this time.
Yeah.
What's different about it this time? Like, what specifically did you hear that you're like, wait a minute, I think we're
The
turning a corner here.
the general public now has access to it instead of just data scientists.
Got it. Why were you confident that the general public was going to be able to to understand how to use it?
I wasn't.
Oh, got it.
It was literally a gut feeling. Also, they would get rolled over, but I also saw it as a tremendous opportunity for small businesses to make money.
Okay. I don't know if we'll use the Amazon thing yet. It might be too high-minded for small
Yeah.
businesses. So October 2022, I'm reading this nerdy tech journal, and there's an article, this twice. There's an article about this thing called Chat GPT. Let me check in. Penny, are you working on your document?
No.
Okay, so we are not on TV. I want everybody to be in real time. Y'all listen to the feedback that I'm giving Kim. I'm not coaching Kim, I'm coaching everybody at the same time. When I'm work coaching with any one of y'all, it's not like an opportunity to go take a break and be doing other things. Take this feedback in real time and be working on your document. Every single minute during our 3 hour time frame is time for you to be working on your stuff. I'm coaching all of y'all at every moment. Okay. All right. So let's read this. October 2022, I'm reading this nerdy tech journal. There's an article about this thing called Chat GPT that I've been hearing about for a few years now. But something's different this time. Oh, if y'all are seeing what I'm doing, the reason I read this over and over when I'm copywriting, I read out loud the copy to see how it sounds like as a real human. When you're writing something, you want to make sure that you like it feels natural, it feels comfortable, because you're also going to read these. So they're both copy for you to send via email, but you're also going to go on video and utilize this exact same copy from your emails in story form and in videos that you'll put on YouTube for your social content. Going to repurpose everything. Something feels something feels different this time. Something is different this time. The general public is getting access to the same AI. No, for the first time. General public is getting access to the same AI that the data science community has had for years. Seen this script before. Yeah, this actually does work.
That's true. They're everywhere now.
Okay, so you have this insight,
Mhm.
and what comes next? October 2022, you read this article. Oh my God, this is now available to the public. And either people are going to get on board and have amazing opportunities for their business, or they're going to get left in the dust. Then what do you do?
What is it? Lead follower, get the hell out of the way. The
Yeah, but what do
first
you
time.
do?
Okay.
You created what?
Oh, I created a Facebook group for, oh wait. At that time, I created a Facebook group for small businesses who were just starting to hear about and use AI.
Hmm. When?
That was in December, that was in November of 2022.
So literally the next month. Like you didn't waste
Literally, yeah.
any time.
Well, you got to move fast with AI.
Got it.
But I started having conversations with some with friends of mine as well as some colleagues and decided to start the Facebook group the next month. And we held our first summit in November of 2022 also.
Wow. So literally the next month.
Mhm. It was the first all black, all female AI summit ever in the United States.
I think that's a great story to tell during your campaign sometime. It's
Hmm.
not as relevant for this particular video, but I do think that's a useful point.
Okay.
Next month, I opened up a Facebook group for um, this. What this is like for entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah, for curious entrepreneurs, for entrepreneurs who are curious about AI and wanted to learn how to use it.
Curious about AI. And before the month was out, held my first, just like a national summit.
It was online. It was a national online summit.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna get this out of the way for now. I'm gonna put this somewhere else. We'll put this at the bottom of the document for you to come back to it if you want.
Okay.
Okay. So we're again, the length of this now, we're probably gonna be around 2.5 minutes or so. Let's try this. Is it okay if I read this?
Sure.
All right, then I'm gonna have you read it. Okay. And let me time this as well. Okay. Because we want this to be somewhere, if you look at your notes up here, it'll tell you time of this video should be around 90 seconds or so, no longer than 2 minutes mostly. If it's really compelling, like it's okay if it goes to 2.5 minutes, tops three, but we really
Hmm.
want to shave this down and try to get it, as close to around 2 minutes or less if we can, unless the stories are really rich and specific. In this case, the story is more descriptive. It's not like a story about a particular person or you. It's more like a moment in time, and it's not a moment in time where you took somebody to some outcome. So I would want to keep this a little bit shorter. All right, I'm going
Okay.
to read this and then we'll see how long it is. Stopwatch and go. I've been a technologist for over 40 years. a business development consultant for over 30, and I've worked with AI for almost 10. This is not my first rodeo. In the past 2 years, I've helped over 30 seasoned entrepreneurs grow their revenue by as much as 20% in a month while reducing their time spent on content creation and posting on social media by as much as 50% with one simple thing: AI assisted automation of key processes around marketing, sales, and day-to-day business management. October 2022, I'm reading this nerdy tech journal, and there's an article about this thing called ChatGPT that I've been hearing about for a few years now, but something is different this time. For the first time, the general public is getting access to the same AI that the data science community has had for years. I've seen this script before with how Amazon decimated thousands of small businesses across the country in a few years' time, starting with books, then branching out into every business category imaginable. How'd they do it? Leveraging AI long before it went mainstream. I know in that moment that one of two things will come next for small businesses. They'll either learn how to use, I don't like this. So I feel like we need a story about you using AI or about you implementing this with somebody so that it's real. This is too general about Amazon. Give me a story from that time um, around like somebody who was at the summit or before the summit or afterwards, something specific about a real person where it was like, oh my God, look what just happened in their business.
Let's talk about how mm,
While you're thinking about this, Kim,
yeah, I was gonna say, give me a second to think about that. I don't want to waste everyone's
Melissa,
time.
and Lynn, and Penny, are y'all following what we're doing here and how every step of the way we're looking to make this specific? I'm going to a particular moment in time, not just describing stuff in general. Are y'all following what I'm doing so far?
I'm following it. Can you look and see if my tabs are updating? I think I'm doing it with you can see what I update, but I'm gonna specify a little bit more. I did a few stories in mine, but I need to get more specific. But my tab is there, that link.
Got it. Yeah. Kim, you think for a second. We've
Mhm.
got part of yours done. And think of, again, a specific person you can point to, whether they were at that summit, after that summit, one of your earliest customers, and you can say that we did this, and as a result, they got that. Like I want to make this a little bit more personal. Melissa, I'm going to open yours up, and then we're going to do a little bit of work on yours in real time as well. All right. No, no, no. So what I can tell you've already used like Chat GPT for this. That's not what we're doing here. This needs to be your personal story. This is not like us describing something in general.
Okay.
So I want you to um we're just gonna go through this in real time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take all this content that you got so far, I'm gonna move it down to the bottom. And y'all, for the most part, I want you to resist the urge of bringing Chat GPT to the work that we're going to do during this time, because all Chat GPT is going to do is going to give you more and more and more, lots and lots and lots of words, more general descriptions of things. It is not going to get us to the narrow, specific language that says we need to say as clearly and concisely as we need to. So avoid the urge to use Chat GPT on the work that we're doing for the most part. All right, I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna drop it down to the bottom in case there's something that we need later. Let me look at it real quick. There we go. Okay. Um, oh, I didn't grab everything. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna grab all of this and then I'm just gonna replace this section. This, cut this out. All right, cool. And let me go back to my original. We're not editing this part up here. This part stays as our kind of our template, our example. All right, so let's drop that back here. Right. Okay, Melissa, I want you to walk me through a little bit of your background, like the things that make you somebody who is an authority in this space for, is this around blood pressure? Is this around like natural health solutions in general? Is this around cannabis? What are the thing, what's the stuff that's relevant for
For
this?
this, we're going to focus on blood types.
Okay.
Blood type.
All right, so tell me about some of the stuff in your track record that makes you an authority about this space. People you've helped, things you know, why you know it, et cetera.
Okay, well, after spending decades in just wellness in general and having health challenges, I was diagnosed twice. Um, Always on this quest for knowledge. I ended up publishing a book in 2013, and I thought, like many people, I figured out what health is, eating healthy food. Had another near-death experience, and then finally, about 4 years ago, a naturopath doctor walked into our office and asked me a question, do I know my blood type? And I did not. So here I am thinking I'm a wellness authority. I published books. I've spoken on some of the biggest platforms, but I didn't even know my blood type. And a part of the challenges that I experienced in life was because as a blood type A, I have lower stomach acids. My mother, who's a blood type O, who fed me her O diet, which is heavy protein, wasn't suitable for me. And so, because of that, I developed stomach problems at the age of 19 that put me in surgery where I had a 50% chance of living or dying. At the time, I didn't know it was blood type specific. After another issue, when I was probably at the time, maybe 12 years ago, I think I was like 40, something like that. Had another issue and still could not really figure it out. I was eating healthier than most. I had taken classes on, becoming a certified vegan chef. So I'm doing all the things that I'm thinking is right. But the one missing component was I never knew as blood type A's, we have lower stomach acids. And so once I had a chance to connect with this naturopath, we developed a system called the 21-day cleanse. We've had tens of thousands of people complete our program. We've seen people reverse chronic issues. I was able to be my own, I guess, what do you call it, best example, because I also reversed my chronic health issues and was able to help, like I said, thousands of others do the same. So that's really, I think, where I'm trying to lead with this one, because I don't want to go into the cannabis. I don't want to go into I want to be very specific with the blood type for this particular campaign we're working on.
Got it. Okay. Some of this stuff is going to go down into passion purpose, what you've done, this stuff right here. So let's see. We're going to start off with this line right here because this stops people in their tracks. I've almost died 2 times, or I've almost died 2 times. Or let's see, no, this is very visceral. I've almost died twice. They'll be like, what? Say more about that. Almost died twice. Um, Tell me specifically, like the first time, it's 2020 or 20. Tell me what the time, what the years were, and what was the situation.
Oh my God, I was 19. What was that in? That was would have been in not that would have been in 92. I guess it was in 92. So 1992. I was basically experiencing digestive issues, and I went to the hospital and they told me that I was experiencing gas. And so and that's what they thought it was. About a week later, I was in my room at college crawling around because I couldn't hardly function. I was losing energy. I went to a chiropractor, and the chiropractor then directed me to the emergency room. He says, you need to be in a hospital. You're very sick.
A
So
week,
after I went to the hospital, they just did exploratory surgery.
real quick, you said this a week later, Melissa?
About a
So
week later, after I had the
1992,
emergency room visit, yeah,
1992, you're experiencing digestive issues. Doctors dismissed it.
they
A week
dismissed.
later, go
About a
ahead.
week later, I was at death's doorknob and didn't know it because I'm thinking I'm being a hypochondriac. So I'm just kind of allowing myself to gradually get weaker, thinking it was in my head because they told me that it was gas. And so, but it wasn't. It was something much more critical. And so, a week later, I went into the emergency room again after the chiropractor told me to, that I was very sick. And so when I went to the emergency room, they did an exploratory surgery where they still couldn't diagnose the problem. They just said, we're going to put her into surgery. We're going to open her up and see what's going on. And so after the surgery, I later learned what the issues were, and it was digestive related. They didn't say, oh, you're blood type A, you have lower stomach acids. They just said your digestive system wasn't processing your food very well. And so I literally had E. coli in my body. My system was almost backing up on me, and my organs were starting to fail. And they told my grandmother that I had a 50% chance of surviving that.
I'm gonna stop you at certain times just so I can make sure that I'm getting the story arc.
Okay, no
In the
problem.
emergency room, is it a emergency surgery or just an explore? Because you said exploratory, but is it actually an emergency surgery?
Emergency surgery, but because they didn't know what it was, they called it an exploratory lab. So that means they're just opening you up, you're critically ill, and they have to figure out once they open you what's wrong.
Got it. So they have no idea
Right.
what's wrong. But is it like, but it's clear that I'm on death's door, or it's clear that I'm like, what
Well,
was
they call it graying of the body. And so they say there's a sign your body starts to do whenever you are to the point where, and the signals you can pick up, and that means you lose the color in your skin. So somebody who hadn't seen me frequently noticed the skin color, which is why after the chiropractor told me to go to the emergency room, I ended up in the emergency room because another family member said, "Oh my God, something's wrong with her," but that person hadn't seen me, so they saw my skin. So that's how they kind of knew. And when they opened me up, they gave the example to my grandmother that it was pretty much a 50-50 chance because of all the toxins and the things that were going on inside of my body. So yeah.
So I'm in the emergency room a week later. They have no idea what's wrong, but it's clear that my body is shutting down. They do, and they do an emergency. So they open me up for an emergency exploratory surgery. Um, they find what say what they find in your digestive system again. They find
Coli and just my they ended up removing my appendix too. They said my appendix never really busted, but it was the I guess whatever was going on in my digestive system, it was not being efficient to break down the foods. And so I had E. coli and various poisons in my system. So they had to put a tube in me and suck them out. And it was like a long process.
okay,
Yeah.
they find that my digestive system is compromised, and I've got E. coli present in over 50% of my body.
I don't know if it was 50% of the E. coli, but I know they gave me a 50% chance of surviving the surgery.
Okay. And I've got E. coli present throughout my body. Is that a fair statement?
Fair statement. Yes.
Doctors informed, doctors told my grandma I had a 50-50 chance of surviving. Okay. Let's read. Almost died twice. First time is 1992. I'm experiencing digestive issues. Doctors dismiss this gas. I'm in the emergency room a week later. They have no idea what's wrong, but it's clear my body is shut down. They open me up for an emergency exploratory surgery. They find my digestive system is compromised, and I've got E. coli present throughout my body. Doctors told my grandma I had a 50-50 chance of surviving. What happened then?
Well, I mean, I survived the surgery, thank God. And so what do they say? They sew you up, they put you back together. They gave me all these antibiotics and all these treatments. But again, they didn't explain to me I should stop eating animal meat. So I continued on my life, um, just thinking I need to eat healthier. And healthy living in America is relative to who you talk to.
Got it. Okay. So what happened is you came out of that surgery, and thank God I made it, but I didn't know anything new about how to take care of myself, so I just did what I thought was healthy, right? I took you start. What did you do? Well, let me get that because I can hear the transition.
In
Take care of
Atlanta.
myself, right?
Yeah.
So You did what you thought was taking care of yourself. Let me get this. Thank God I made it. And I came out clear that I needed to take care of my health. So is it fair that you made some, to say that you made some changes to what you were doing after that? Did you immediately start doing things that you thought were healthier?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Go back to that time and tell me what you did that was your version of I got to get healthier. So you did what at that time to, based on your limited knowledge, to try to live a healthier lifestyle? What'd you do?
Well, I went to Atlanta and I went to a seminar by I don't know the name of the seminar, but I know Queen Afua, she was like a health expert that was there. I bought her book called Heal Thyself. And
Hmm.
so I started purchasing health books to kind of try to figure out, what's going on and how could that happen to my body at such a young age. So I guess you can say I just dove myself into being a student of purchasing books, attending health seminars, workshops to be on a never-ending quest for knowledge.
Okay, so you're reading books, you're going to seminars. What changes about your lifestyle? What do you start doing differently at that time? Your,
Definitely eating more fruits and vegetables. At 19, obviously, I just left my parents' home. So I probably didn't have the best diet, eating probably too much fast food. So definitely trying to eliminate as much fast food.
Mhm.
Uh, more, I was still eating meat, but I was trying to eat less fried food, things of that nature, making small, gradual changes.
Did you start working out more? Were you already working out, like stuff like that?
Physically, you would look at me and think I was the picture of health back then because I was like track star, all-star cheerleader. So I
Mhm.
was very physically fine until one day it just was like boom. So this was not like a gradual process. It was just like a boom. And so when I got out of the hospital, I went in very muscular and athletic, but because they wouldn't let me move, you couldn't have anybody touch your stomach because it was in like such a process. I lost a lot of muscle mass and became very thin and more fragile after that process. So yeah, I would say once I was well enough and they gave me the clearance to go work out again, I definitely was working to try to regain some of my muscle mass and things of that nature.
Got it. So it was these are things you were already doing. You were already active and things like that. That wasn't something that was a new mindset, but you did become present to more fruits, more vegetables. We got to curb this fast food, less fried food, and you're learning about things on your health and wellness journey. You're going to seminars, so you become a student of health and wellness. Take me now to after that, you're still having issues, or did the issues stop for a while?
Well, for a while they stopped, because again, being that young, that was also probably in my favor
Got it.
because they're resilient. They, fix you up, sew you back, and put you back together. But it was probably once I hit my 30s where I was starting to have different issues again. Some of them were hormonal related, but a lot of gut issues, a lot of digestive issues, but again, didn't connect it, issues with constipation, just a lot of challenges that were still gut related, but not to the point where it was critical. And I ended up in an emergency room
Okay.
uh, until the end of that decade. I think it was right around when I was 39,
But wait,
30.
hold on. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. So we're gonna just go piece by piece. Because I can hear you've got a very rich story. So I want to make sure I'm categorizing in the right places. And give me just a second. I'm gonna check in on Penny's document to see where she's at. Okay, entrepreneur for 15 years, certified tea sommelier for 10, educator in health sciences for nearly 2 decades. I've survived domestic violence, rebuilt my life by formulating wellness-focused teas in my kitchen, blends that would later grow in Penny's Tea, now stocked in more than 700 doors across 28 states. 700, yep. Got my brand from grassroots markets to big box retailers, giving me the real world expertise and credibility. Um, Okay, Penny, make sure that you are giving me edit access on each document. All right, that's a good start. I'm going to come back to this one. Good job so far. I want to make sure that you were seeing how to apply this. And Lynn, I'm gonna come and check on you in a minute. Okay. Start purchasing health books. All right. So after this, the next few years, I still have still having some gut issues, but nothing life-threatening, right? It's just like discomfort. Is that right, Melissa?
Right.
When was the second big thing?
So the second issue, I guess after experiencing gut issues, gut challenges, then all of a sudden it led to this bout of insomnia. And I didn't realize at the time it was a nutritional thing because, again, when your gut's messed up, you're not absorbing your nutrients, you become nutrient deficient. And a lot of that leads to other areas like anxiety, panic. And so it was
What year
probably
is that? What year is that?
2012, 2013. So flat
This is
fat.
almost like this is like 20 years later. So you go for a couple decades and just living life and just dealing with this discomfort.
Well, dealing with just thinking of it as natural life, your digestive system bloating. People talk about that all the time. We think it's just normal. We don't see it as a 911 crisis, especially if
Mm.
it doesn't land us in the emergency room or at a hospital. So yeah, I went on for decades until I had another crisis. And so around 2012 is when I started developing beyond just the gut issues, anxiety, panic disorder, and then also more issues with, constipation, things of that nature. So yeah, that became more problematic around then. And that's when I really kind of started saying something is wrong and I need to figure it out because I was going to doctors at this point. Like I was visiting naturopath doctors, I was visiting regular medical doctors. They would do a physical on me, and physically, it didn't seem as if anything was wrong. So again, it just became this pattern of, what do I do? And so I knew at that point I had to take matters into my own hands. And so at that point, I started trying to research.
Don't tell me yet. I'm gonna just go piece by piece.
No
So
problem.
we're right around 2012. We start having chronic constipation, insomnia. Are there any other issues that I didn't grab?
Insomnia, panic, and anxiety.
Panic and anxiety. Okay, got it. Panic and anxiety. And I'm clear something deeper is happening. Um, constant pattern, constant pattern of. Were you doing like emergency rooms as well, or just like doctor visits?
At that point, it was just doctor visits. It took another kind of serious crisis for it to escalate to the point where, so let's talk about the insomnia. The insomnia was just periodically, you couldn't sleep. And then I had what they call a life altering moment where I could not sleep at all. Like imagine going days at a time and you can't turn your brain off. And so I started researching like, well, what's the longest time anyone's ever went out without sleep and, and lived to tell the story. And I did research and some experts were saying like 12 days, and at the time I was a highly successful entrepreneur. I'm still traveling, but I'm traveling on no sleep. I'm talking about zero sleep. I could not shut my brain off. And so it got to the point I would be on an airplane, and then because of the lack of sleep, develop these panic attacks where I just wanted to get off the airplane, but I had to just sit there because at some point they're going to probably think you're crazy. And so it got to the point where my insomnia lasted 9 days.
Wait a minute. Wait a
Nine
minute.
days, yeah.
Here. 9 days of limited sleep or 9 days of like no sleep?
9 days where I could not turn my brain off to actually go to sleep and repair. Zero sleep.
Are you kidding me? 9 days?
Sleeping pills. I had went to visit doctors. I couldn't, there was not a sleeping pill that could turn my brain off. Like I would buy the ones, and I always try to do healthier alternatives. And so it just got to the point where, and I think that was my defining moment because at that time I just kind of started naturally cutting out anything except raw fruits and vegetables. So it was kind of like a natural instinct just to say something has to heal my body. And that's when I finally was able to go to sleep. When I just cut out every type of thing that I felt instinctively from cooked food, no animal meat, none of that. And it's at that moment I knew there was something tied in with food, and not just
Mm.
healthy food. Because again, some of the stuff I was eating that I thought was healthy would be like grilled chicken, or I would eat steamed rice, or vegetables. And I'm thinking this is healthy, grilled fish. I had to leave all of that away and just got to the point where I'm doing, raw juicing, fruit, and then I finally.
Hold on, real quick. All right, before we go any further, I'm gonna go back for a second. Um, what's the thing called? What is that chronic insomnia attack? What was the official name for it?
Panic disorder, panic attack.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a another. Yeah, there's another definition for that. So the insomnia, the panic attack, the anxiety, and it did land me in an emergency room. So here's the crazy part. I get to the emergency room, and again, they're testing me for everything, for a heart attack, for this, and I'm on like an EKG. They do a stress machine. And so, and that's when you really kind of hit the breaking point. It's like, here I am at the hospital, and they're telling me there's nothing wrong, but I'm not sleeping, and I'm having these panic disorders. And so I really decided that I'm going to just get back to basic stuff as I'm researching out. I had a lot of books at that time too, and a lot of them were talking about raw fruits and we're eating processed food.
Still don't want to go yet. You gonna so bear with me. I'm following the story arc. I still didn't catch the official name of the panic attack. You said panic attack, you said insomnia. I think the crash you had a specific name.
So there's well, panic disorder or panic attack. I mean,
The, the thing that was the 9 days, right? I think you said that it was called some sort of crash. It had a name, and that's when you
I know this. I don't know if there's a name for it, but I'm saying that I researched the longest someone went without sleep and didn't die because you're losing brain cells, right? Your brain regenerates when you sleep. So I don't know that there's a technical name for 9 days. I might have that record in the United States. I don't know.
okay. So you're having some insomnia, you're having some panic attacks, and then all of a sudden a moment where
Oh, I
you
said I couldn't turn my brain off.
yeah, a moment where you couldn't turn your brain off for 9 days.
I couldn't turn my brain off. I couldn't shut it down. I couldn't, let it allow me to fall asleep.
There wasn't an escalation to that. It was just like I'm having some insomnia, and then one day I couldn't turn it off.
The first few days, it was just kind of like, okay, because I've always, if you research type A's anyway, type A blood types are kind of sleepless already. Like we're the people they say we're up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I'll wake up at 6. So my normal speed is like work too much. They call me team no sleep. So for me, the first few days, it was like, okay, what I mean, let me stop drinking caffeine, right? You just kind of think of it something like that. When you get into the deeper days is when you start recognizing, but I wasn't tired. It wasn't like, so imagine you're just in this state. I didn't know if it was from eating gum that had chemicals in it. I've been doing all this crazy online researching to figure out what is it that triggered my brain to not fall asleep.
I got you. I'm asking something a little bit different though. So I know once it started, like you weren't concerned at first because you kind of do that. Sometimes you get inspired, excited, you may work. What I'm saying is, were the bouts of insomnia gradually longer, or was it like one
Oh,
day
yeah,
you
no.
found yourself up for several days and then it was like 9 days?
Gotcha. So yeah, so normally insomnia for me is just I wake or I might be up to like 4 or 5 in the morning, then finally you fall asleep. So that's the normal experience of insomnia for many people, where you just can't sleep at 11 or 12.
Got it.
Then there was a time in which the first day it happened, I wasn't panicked. The second day, but I went from maybe, yeah, at the most time staying up for 24 hours, maybe at the max, to having a 9 day of not being able to sleep. I got to the point where I sent my son all my passwords for my bank accounts because I literally thought I was dying. That's how I ended up in the emergency room. I'm like, there's got to be something wrong with me because not only can I not sleep, but I started feeling symptomatic as if I was having heart failure or something. And that's when they started testing me for stress tests, EKG, because imagine your body's escalating. So now your mind isn't shutting off. So you're manifesting symptoms that really weren't physical in nature in the sense that they couldn't find my heart to be a problem. They couldn't find this to be a problem. But at the end of the day, scientifically, my brain hadn't shut down for 9 days. So I knew just by research that could kill you, right? At some point, your brain's going to lose so many brain cells and not regenerate, because the only time our body heals is when we sleep, which is why we need 6 to 8 hours, depending on your body type, every single night. So that was kind of the moment, I guess, that I call the defining moment, because it wasn't a 24-hour of insomnia. It wasn't 48 hours. It was 9 days where my brain did not shut off. And I was having more anxiety during this time, more panic during this time, and more manifestations of symptoms like, is my heart okay? You know what I'm saying? Am I having a stroke, right? So I'm manifesting these things, go to the hospital thinking maybe I'm dying, for them to tell me all your vitals are fine, right? You know? And then I'm just diving heavier into the fact that I need to get on this maybe natural path, cut out the animals, cut out this,
Quick
and through
question.
all fruits and vegetables, I
When you
went to.
went to the hospital, did you have to call in like an ambulance? Or if you're hearing if you're listening to what I'm saying, I'm not just looking for the generals, I'm listening for like very specific details that make this story vivid. We're going to talk more about vivid storytelling as soon as we get out of this section, but I'm
Yeah,
not just looking for the story.
I
I'm
got
looking
you.
for
So
like
I got off an
moments in
airplane.
time that I can anchor. Did you take yourself to the hospital,
in a
or
yeah, I landed in Atlanta because I think I was, at the time I was just coming from Florida, because remember, I'm running businesses, so I'm still working, I'm doing all my stuff. So I was in Florida. I landed on a plane in Atlanta, and at the time I was going to supposed to go out to Macon, Georgia for this, it was like a weekend retreat type deal where we're learning and learning and growing business. But when I landed, something in that moment kind of went off in my brain, like there's something wrong with me, because not only am I not sleeping, but now I'm landing in the at the airport. And when I was landing on the plane, I felt like my left side was going numb, like I felt like, am I having a stroke? So this is why I'm on the plane, right?
Atlanta to Florida?
No, I came from Florida, landed in Atlanta.
Got it.
I landed in Atlanta, and my left side felt as if it was starting to go numb. So again, I didn't know if this is related to the insomnia. Is something really medically wrong with me? But I didn't want to freak anybody out. I'm walking through the airport, like, you know what, if I'm dying in this moment, what I'm saying? There's a lot of people around me. And so at the time I was supposed to go to Macon, Georgia. I canceled that, and I just got in a cab, and they took me to, I guess it was Piedmont Hospital in Atlanta.
Okay,
And
hold
so
on.
I ended up in Piedmont.
Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. On the flight, left side starts to go numb, and you're walking through the airport as you land. Is your left side now like, can you still feel it at that time?
It's one of those things where, like, it's like your left hand of your upper portion, you're feeling as if there's not a sensation there, but I was still able to physically move. So yeah, I mean, I think if I look back to that, I just know it felt numb, and I know that's a symptom of a stroke, right? And so in my mind, I'm like, am I having a stroke, or is this my panic? Is this my anxiety? Because you have to remember, I've been feeling panic and anxiety since this insomnia started. So I didn't know if I was manifesting my own symptoms in my head. And me being kind of a reserved person, I'm not one to be like, I'm having a heart attack. Y'all go call 911. I'm just like, okay, let me talk myself down from this. Maybe it's my panic, but at the same time, I still can't feel my left arm.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
So we're walking through the airport. We feel the stuff on the left side. Am I having a stroke? Is this just panic? I'm not sure. I cancel my speaking engagement in Macon, Georgia, and get a cab straight to the hospital.
The hospital.
All right.
At this time, I'm texting my son like all my passwords for my accounts, because I'm thinking, I don't know if this is the end,
Yep.
but I'm just making sure if something happened to me, he knew how to access the accounts that I felt would be critical in that moment.
Got it. Because you literally are not sure, like you might be dying right now. That's what's going through your mind.
Right.
This is a very the reason I'm allowing, like, I wouldn't usually ever have the background part be this long, and some of this will like move to the middle. This is such a vivid story with so much detail, and all this is about story. It's okay when you've got a really vivid, visceral story to lean into that a little bit more. It's okay for that story to be a little bit longer. That's why I'm going here. But notice, it's not just about the details. again, every time I'm stopping, listen, I'm like, women, 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 women. I want people to be in the airport with her. I want them to experience I'm on the plane and my left side goes numb. I'm walking through the airport and I'm wondering, am I dying? Am I having a stroke? I'm texting my son in the car my passwords because I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it. That's the vivid storytelling part of it. And so it's not just the details, it's really about bringing people into that moment. Now, this is the second one. We get to the hotel. Okay, wait, hold on. So not the hotel, the hospital. I cancel my speaking engagement, get a cab straight to the hospital. In the cab, I'm texting my son all my passwords for my accounts because I'm not sure if I'm dying. All right. At the jump to the end in the hospital, after they hook you up to all this stuff, like what's the end verdict? They just tell you all your vitals are normal and you just had a panic attack?
Well, that's the assumption because at the time I don't know that they gave me a diagnosis for that. I think that's something you have to talk maybe to another doctor for. But I know I just remember at the time them telling me, like your EKG is normal, your stress test is normal. And in my mind, I was hoping they found something. Like, you want them to tell you there's a reason other than it's all in my mind at this point because of the lack of sleep. You know what I mean? So there was no conclusion from the doctor outside of your heart is okay, you're not having a stroke, you're not having a heart attack. So with that reassurance, at that point, it was like, I'm going cold turkey. I'm
Okay.
going to.
Hold on. So take me back into I want to know what are all the tests that they did? They do the EKG, they do the stress test. Like, what are the names?
I know they did something where I would have to go back and look at some of my reports, but I know they did the EKG, they did the stress test, and then there was something else they took because they drew blood. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm
So
sure.
EKG stress test, they tell me my heart is okay. It's not a stroke. It's not a heart attack. And I was praying they found something because what's going on? Not a,
Why? Maybe it's
I was actually praying they found something, but they release me and tell me I'm fine.
I'm fine, right? Get some sleep, right?
And so that's the moment I'm like,
And too,
I
like
got to cut out everything.
there
So
was something too that they did give me a prescription. I'm trying to think at the time. I think you know what? I think they did because I would have to look. This was back in, 2012, 2013. So I think they gave me a prescription, but it was for something sleep related. So I told myself I would first try to use some fruits and vegetables and juicing and just because I hate to take drugs. Like I'm like people who know me, they know whatever it is, whether it's antibiotic, I just don't like to take drugs. I feel like they're not man-made, right? Are they man-made? They're not from God, our creator. And so they gave me some kind of prescription, I think, for the anxiety, for the calming your mind, but I had buying other stuff that didn't work. So I felt like, let me just go the natural route because I'd already bought valerian root. I bought some sleeping pills from the store. I bought all these chemicals. And so I said, let me just try the holistic route. And that was the decision I made when I walked out of that door. Like I was not going to do the prescription because I'm not going to be dependent now on something to go to sleep every night. And so it was kind of like a defining moment for me that maybe I just need to reset my body. So
that
yeah.
was right after that hospital incident. You started right into I'm getting rid of everything, and you just went totally natural. Okay, so I cut out every single thing I could. So tell me, you cut out cooked food, animal byproducts. Are there any other like designations of stuff you cut out?
Well, yeah, cook food, animal products,
Hmm?
eating raw, and then juicing. I did a lot of juicing and smoothies. So that was kind of my thing. Salads, just that was the diet I took on.
Got it. And I just start uh, juicing, raw everything.
And I remember it ordered a cleanser that I had ordered before, and it's like some bitters and stuff. So I ended up it was like some herbal remedy, but I didn't have it on me because I flew to Atlanta. And so I remember in that moment, I went to a health food store and I bought some herbs, so kind of just trying to figure it out, right? I bought like some kind of herbal tea and just raw fruits, vegetables, smoothies, salads, that kind of thing. So yeah.
Herbal teas. herbal teas and natural smoothies. Got it. How long was it before you start to see like you got some sleep, body starts feeling like it hadn't before? How long?
I went to sleep that night. So that was the first time. And maybe it's two because the doctor said you're not dying. My brain was not so freaked out. But I went to sleep that night. So that was an eye opener for me that something, and I'd already been trying to eat healthier. So I think that just took it over. But that same night, I finally had some sleep. So yes.
The day you got out of the hospital, did you literally go to the store that day and start getting natural stuff and start cleaning out
I was in Atlanta. Like I said, so I'm in a cab. I ended up one of my uncle's wives who was there at the time came and picked me up. So I ended up shopping with her. So yeah, I did. I was like, I'm not eating anything. I remember her like, wanting to take me somewhere, and I'm like, I think it was Atlanta Fish House or something that I love going to. I'm like, I'm not eating at any restaurant. So I didn't want anything to enter my body because I just felt like I needed to figure this out quickly because I didn't want to be that person that went 12 days without sleeping to figure out what else would happen next. So,
everything, herbal teas and natural smoothies. Finally got to sleep that same night for 9 days. Sleep that night. Okay, so some of this is going to move down. And Melissa, thank you for working with me as I interrupt and interrupt and interrupt and interrupt because I know that the natural response is to just like tell story and tell the whole thing. I don't need all of it. I just need the pieces I need. So I'm gonna have to just bust in and get you where I need you to be. So thank you for not taking offense to it. Okay. Now I'm gonna go down to the thousands of people. That's gonna be our social proof. Never knew that a type A. My mother was a type A, tens of thousands. Tell me about the tens of thousands of people.
and my mother was the type O.
Got you. Yeah, I got that. Mother was a type O, fed me type O diet. I got that.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
tell me about the tens of thousands.
So right after all that experience, I ended up publishing my first book dedicated towards just health and wellness called Proverbs Diet. So I published that book in 2013. And in that book, it kind of started exposing. I wrote about the story. So the story that I just shared with you, it's in that book. But I also talked about some of the principles that I was learning through my process, like what kind of proteins to eat, what time. So that happened as it relates to that particular period in my life. But the tens of thousands that you're talking about, we're going to fast forward. So you tell me when you're ready to fast forward because now we're going to take it to 2021 because I did the book in 2013 knowing what I knew then. It wasn't about blood types. It was just healthy eating. I still didn't have anybody tell me you're a blood type A. So I'm just doing my best to use my instinct and my inner gut and whatever research I found. So when I wrote the book, it was really just guiding people to healthier life, sharing that with my journey, trying to help people to be preventative, traveling, speaking at Long Beach State. I've spoken at. I had the Seventh Day Adventists. They invited me, and they wanted me to make a comic book featuring my book because they loved it so much.
I want to get to some very specific numbers in this social proof section. From 2013 to when you did the program, was this book like a big seller? Was this book something that touched thousands of people, or was it just something that just went on your track record?
Right. You could put that on the track record because I wrote the book because I was in network marketing, a company called Evolve Health, where
Got it.
I had big team. So it was kind of like a tool
Got
that
it. We're
I
gonna
was
skip that for now.
trying to be an
We're gonna
Amazon
skip that for now. I want to get to the stuff you've done in this, particularly around blood type, that has resulted in tens of thousands.
That's
So
21. So
walk me through when the shift happened for the tens of thousands who you've helped specifically around blood type.
no problem. So in 2019, became the CEO for a company called Wakana. We were doing beauty products, but in 2021, a naturopath doctor walked into our office And of course, as we're doing our CBD products, he was wanting to learn more about our company because we were formulating CBD products that was helping with anxiety and panic disorder. So that was a lot.
Got Melissa. The reason I'm busting in a little bit is just we're tighter on time, so I want to get to the bullet points. I've got the part about the naturopath walks in. He asks you what your blood type. You like, I don't know. I got that part.
I
What I'm
got
looking for is just the actual social proof. I published this. I created this program. X number of people who went through it. I just need the data points for now.
No problem. So then we decided to partner together,
Mhm.
came up with a program called the 21-Day Cleanse, which would help people like me because I first had to use his program on myself, had a chance to utilize his specific program on myself. And immediately, some of the digestive issues that I still experience from time to time, because even having that,
Listen, I don't need no story at all. I just need the data points for now. So, what year was the 21 Day Cleanse
we
program?
did it in 2021.
All right. So, listen, here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to ask specific questions, and I just want you to give me boom, 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 boom. So, 21 Day Cleanse is 2021, right?
2021.
All right. And how many people have been through that program?
Through that program, I know over 10,000, but I think it's more. We have 32,000 customers, but some of them were only cannabis customers. I think it's maybe 10 to 12,000 people that have done the 21-day cleanse.
Okay. So, we know for sure that it's over 10,000.
Over 10,000, yes.
Okay, have done in the 21 day cleanse. That is it like a challenge? What is the format of that? 10
Yeah,
days.
so it's a raw program. So you're going to eat raw food.
I got
You're
it.
going to no cooked food. So again, no cooked food, no animal products. And then there's an herbal tea. There's a product that helps with mucus and parasites.
Got it.
And then there's also a product that helps to restore the body because we detox, but we also have to load our body with superfoods and nourish the cells.
Got it. So over 10,000 customers have gone through this 21 day. It's like a whole body cleanse is what I'm hearing. And what are the results specific to blood type that you know about from this?
Yeah, well, for the blood type A's are a perfect example because a lot of them deal with all the digestive issues,
Mhm.
this digestive distress, which it goes away, right? The digestive issues goes away. We've had people, we talk about weight loss because we always like to say the FDA, so we want to focus on a lot of the weight loss stories too. So losing weight on average, just depending on your body type, but definitely over 10 pounds. People have lost as many as 30 pounds. We have lots of stories regarding kidney failure that was at 32%. Now it's over 52% after cleansing. We've had stories of people reversing tumors, and just so there's a lot of testimonials behind it. I have a video I can kind of go through, and if you want me to highlight specific ones, I
I don't
can.
know, just off the top of the head. So it sounds like you've had 10,000 plus customers who've gone through this 21 day cleanse over the last 4 years.
Over the last 4 years.
So over the last 4 years, over 10,000 customers have gone through the 21 day cleanse. Um, and have you had hundreds or thousands of people report, reversing issues with digestion, with weight loss, with kidney failures, tumor reversal? Has it been hundreds of people who said that, or has it been thousands of people who said that?
As far as testimonials, I would say hundreds because we probably have at least a good 400 to 500 that I can put my hands on from emails, online website reviews, social media, things like that. So I'd say 400 to 500.
So we have hundreds of case studies of customers who've uh, reported reversal of chronic digestive issues.
Kidney issues, fatty liver, um,
Ten,
fibro,
ten,
pros-
say those again.
fibroids, prostate, kidney issues, fatty liver, chronic pain, cholesterol.
Okay, cool. Kidney issues, cholesterol, you name it. So we have hundreds of case studies of customers who reported reversal of chronic digestive issues, losing 10 to 30 pounds of weight loss, pounds. I'm just going to say weight loss. weight loss, um, like digestive issue, chronic issues such as digestion problems, changes. Hmm. Right. And your company, Wakana, that started in 2019. And that is that an eight-figure company or multi seven-figure?
Well, yeah, we've done it collectively almost $20 million in sales.
Got it. Okay, so 2019, I started Wakana.
By the way, today it's called Akana, but I don't know if that makes a difference in how you're writing it. But it started off as Wakana. We removed the A in 2023 as we realized we were more wellness versus CBD. So
Okay. So I'm just going to use what it's called today. So 2019, I started my current company. Um, I started do you call it a health and wellness company? How do you refer to it?
health and wellness. Mhm.
Health and wellness company called Akana. And over and in over the last 6 years, we've done over $20 million in business. And how many distributors do you have or
About
have you had?
we have about 4,000 distributors.
We've done over $20 million in sales and grown to almost 4,000, you said? 4,000 distributors around the world or around the country?
We're only in the United States right now. We haven't expanded international.
Around the country. Right. So let's see. That takes care of our track record for health and wellness. Um, I've been 2019, and you've been studying health and wellness for well over 20 years. Your first thing, this is 1992. This is 2002, 2012. So this is over 30 years. So I've been I've been studying wellness has been a life and death. Um, oh, I know what to say. Health and wellness. I've been studying health and wellness for over 30 years. Because for me, it was life or death. Okay. Um, I'll tell you more about that in a minute. 2019, pull this up here. In the last 6 years, we've done over 20 million in sales and almost 4,000 distributors around the country. Track record, background, authority is there. Um, Even with all that I know, that was 2021 when the naturopath came in. Okay. All right, y'all. So after all of that work, where we're at is here's where I think we've landed. Melissa, you can edit this. I'm doing this in real time just so y'all. This is not like final. Y'all have to use this, but this is me synthesizing everything to give you what I think is a good capture of this for you, and then you can edit this how you want. But this is where we've landed for your track record section. I've been studying health and wellness for over 30 years because after almost dying 2 times for health related issues, it was quite literally life or death for me. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. We're anchoring that story now, but we're not going to tell it now. In 2019, I started a health and wellness company called Akana. And over the last 6 years, we've done over $20 million in sales and grown almost 4,000 distributors around the country. Social proof. But even having dedicated my life to helping others heal their bodies naturally, in 2021, a simple question from a naturopath showed me just how little I knew about my own body and why I'd been suffering with health issues my whole life. I say this my entire life. What's your blood type? This gets us to setting up our story, giving all your social proof, and also sharing that 20 million while anchoring it with, and 20 million is great, but I'm still just like y'all. I still didn't know what I didn't know after doing all of this stuff. That's probably less than 30 seconds. And we've gotten to an anchor. This section is now done. Now, everything else, we're going to figure out all this stuff in the middle about the two life and death pieces. All of that really lives inside the passion and purpose section. It's your origin moment. It's why you care about all this stuff. Excuse me. So we're gonna just move this down, and I'm gonna try to narrow this a bit, and then we're gonna move to a different section because I think y'all have heard me go back and forth quite a bit, and hopefully you've gotten an understanding of like what kinds of questions I'm asking, what kinds of details I'm trying to pull out. All of that work with Melissa was to get a handful of lines and then ultimately show the track record up front. And then down here in our passion purpose section, this is where we're going to tell most of that story. We've set up the story above. Now, what's your blood type? And down here, I think I already have, I don't know. Let me see where I put it. I don't know. Blood type more than once. Blood type. Okay, yeah, here it is. Naturopath walks in my office and asks, "Do you know your blood type?" My answer is no. Great. And so here's this stuff. Let's pull this up. The answer to his question was no. I later found out that I'm a type A. My mother's a type O, and I've grown up on a type O diet as a result. Little did I know that the food I've been eating all these years, even the stuff I thought was healthy, was literally tearing my body apart from the inside out. 2020, let's see. We got this stuff for the case study. We got the 20,000 customers. Um, yeah, right. Inside out there. Now let's tell our first story. It's 1992. I'm experiencing this and that. So we're going to grab this story and this other one. We're going to pull those up here. Okay, literally tearing my body apart from the inside out. It's 1992. I'm experiencing digestive issues. Doctors dismissed as gas in the emergency room. That whole story over the next 20 years, I'm living what I think is a healthy lifestyle. I found myself having my second brush with death, but I didn't realize it was happening right away. One day I just couldn't turn my brain off. For 9 days, I couldn't sleep. When I say I couldn't sleep, I mean I couldn't sleep well. I literally couldn't sleep at all. This whole time I'm traveling, running my businesses. This is, if you don't know, um, when do hallucinations start when you haven't slept? It's after like 3 days or 4 days. How long before hallucination and how long before the body
I think
begins?
what happens is when you have panic disorder, I guess, and so maybe that's a part of the hallucination, but your brain has a false sense of what's happening around you.
I
Because
know, I know what happens. I'm saying there's a number of days though where like because I've looked this up before, and there's like a window where usually hallucinations start after day blank, and your body begins to shut down after day blank. That's all I'm looking for here.
gotcha.
You know?
Sure, when I know from just going back in my memory, I don't know it's the specific day, but I know the panic disorder was probably happening around day 3 more severely because it wasn't like I didn't have that before. Throughout the process, I had a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of this, but during that 9 days is when everything escalated because it was like this gradual buildup. So, so yeah.
All right, so we got two sections fully written. We're going to time this and see how long it goes. All right, y'all ready? Okay. And actually, Melissa, I want you to read this. So you read, start with I've,
Let me get
and you're going to read this section here, and then read this next section all the way down to the red, the place where I got it highlighted red. I'm going to tell you where to stop.
mine. So this is where you have me here, I think. Let me see here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to highlight in yellow where you start.
Okay.
Just you just jump and keep reading. I'm gonna highlight yellow, and then the next section where you start in yellow and keep reading until you get to red. All right, go.
I've been studying health and wellness for over 30 years because after almost dying 2 times for health related issues, it was quite literally life or death for me. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. In 2019, I started a health and wellness company called Akana. And over the last 6 years, we've done over 20 million in sales and grown to almost 4,000 distributors around the country. But even having dedicated my life to helping others heal their bodies naturally, in 2021, a simple question from a naturopath showed me just how little I knew about my own body and why I'd been suffering with health issues my entire life. What's your blood type?
Go.
The next one.
Keep going.
My answer to his question was no. I later found out that I'm a blood type A. My mother's a type O, and I've grown up on a type O diet as a result. Little did I know that the food I've been eating all these years, even the stuff I thought was healthy, was literally tearing my body apart from the inside out. It's 1992, and I'm experiencing digestive issues. Doctors dismiss it as gas. I'm in the emergency room a week later. They have no idea what's wrong, but it's clear my body is shutting down. They open me up for an emergency exploratory surgery. They find my digestive system is compromised and I've got E. coli present throughout my body. Doctors told my grandma I had a 50-50 chance of surviving. Thank God I made it, and I came out clear that I needed to take care of my health. I started purchasing health books to try to figure out what was happening in my body and how this happened to me at such a young age. I'm eating more fruits and vegetables now, cutting or curbing the fast food, less fried food. Over the next 20 years, I'm living what I think is a healthy lifestyle, but I'm still having some gut issues and discomfort, but nothing life threatening. Right around 2012, I started having chronic constipation, insomnia, panic, and anxiety, and I'm clear something deeper is happening. Then I found myself having my second brush with death. One day, I just couldn't turn my brain off. For 9 days, I couldn't sleep. And when they say couldn't sleep, I don't mean couldn't sleep well. I mean, literally, I did not sleep for 9 full days. If you don't know, after about 12 days of no sleep, the human mind begins to hallucinate. I don't know if it's 12 days. I was guessing there. I don't know, maybe 4 days of no sleep, the human mind begins to hallucinate. After day I don't know. We'll figure that out. Your body begins to break down. This whole time, I'm traveling, running my business. I take off from Florida and I'm headed to Atlanta. My left side starts to go numb mid flight. I'm thinking, Jesus, I'm having a stroke. It's just in that same panic and insomnia I've been feeling. Is this the same panic and insomnia I've been feeling? I cancel my speaking engagement and I get a cab straight to the hospital. In the cab, I'm texting my son all my passwords for my accounts because I'm not sure I'm dying or not. They do an EKG, they do a stress test. They tell me my heart's okay, it's not a stroke. not a heart attack. I was actually praying that they found something, but they release me and tell me I'm fine. Just get some sleep. I literally went home and threw everything out of my refrigerator, all cooked food, all animal byproducts, and went straight to the store. I started juicing, raw, everything, herbal teas and natural smoothies. After 9 days, I finally got the sleep that night. So yeah, so I got some of the flow. We just need to make a couple
And
adjustments.
these are words that you make your own. What I'm looking for is, does that story flow in a natural way for you where it feels like what you would say, not your words, but does the story flow for you naturally?
Yeah, I mean, just a minor few things that in my head I'm thinking one way, but yeah, I think for the most part it does. Probably just a few things to tweak just from historical data point of view. But I think it's the narration of my story, so you got
Okay,
that.
cool. So that's those are the main elements of your story. That story was longer than the typical story, but there's so much meat in there that I would leave it because it actually is very visceral. Both of the times where you're talking about when you went to the hospital, I would leave them both in because I can relate to if you're somebody who thinks you're in good shape, like you were young, you were healthy, why am I here? And then the bridge is you actually, did what you thought was healthy. You went and started eating healthier and living a great lifestyle. And over 20 years, you're still suffering with this stuff that you're just accepting. Well, I guess this is just kind of normal human stuff. Is people got gut stuff going on. It's not until that naturopath walks in just a few years ago. You've been in this business and in this industry 25 years. It says, what's your blood type? And you've never even known to consider that.
Never,
I
yeah.
think this is a very relatable story. And I think you're going to have a lot of people considering a question that they haven't considered before. So we'll get to the last conditional invitation. After this, you can kind of write this on your own. This is meant to be copy and paste. If y'all look at the language here for the conditional invitation, it is if you're doing a Facebook group for your buyer's call, then you use this script. If you're doing a special announcement call, like a Zoom call, you use this script. Melissa, for you, we'll have to talk about like where your audience lives, if quite a bit of them are on Facebook, or if you're going to need to do a call, if they're already conditioned to calls. We'll chat about that. But y'all, is literally a copy paste script. So you use this, you fill in the blanks on what date your invitation call is going to be. The date is next Friday. If you're doing this, inside of the schedule that we use here. So next Monday or this upcoming Monday is day one of your campaign. Day five of your campaign is Friday, and your offer goes live on that Friday, which for us would be, I don't know the date off the top of my head, but that's all you change about this. Everything else stays pretty much exactly the same. All right, so we just did a bunch of work here. I want to check in real quick before we finish out with some more stuff I want to cover around storytelling before we jump. Let me check in and find out, what did y'all take away from the work that we just spent an hour doing with this invitation overview video around your track record and around telling the story in a way that is kind of captivating, but we're not just describing something, we're actually telling our story in a way we want to connect with people. What are y'all's takeaways from this particular work? Who wants to share?
Stories sell.
Well, why do you say that? What did you hear in the stories that like those felt really relatable to you?
In Melissa's story, I'm listening and I'm just like, okay, never thought of it, never thought of my health from the standpoint of my blood type either. And it's compelling. It makes you, your story makes you want to purchase whatever it is that you're selling.
That's real. I've heard of the book Know Your Blood Type, and I've been meaning to get the book for the longest time.
Exactly.
And but like hearing the story, I'm like, I'm so glad that I got a back seat to this because I'm probably gonna get a chance to get to the event for free and all that. I can't wait. It's so good.
I'm on your website now. I'm like, wait.
Melissa, what do you? I spent a lot of time working with you, partially because I knew that I could actually show a lot of the principles that I wanted people to take away from this exercise in kind of going through yours. And we needed to pare down a whole lot of content into being able to really concisely kind of tell your track record story, but also your experiential why this matters story in a way that was clear. What are you taking away from this exercise?
Well, I mean, I think the way you're narrowing things down, because a lot of times I think in our heads we're trying to live through every moment, and some moments are so what, right? And so you got to get to the heart of it. And so yeah, I'm loving that you're helping me because it'd be very long-winded because there's a lot to share.
Yeah, you've got quite the story, and I'm sure you got a dozen, a few dozen more where that comes from. So this is going to be a fun journey getting those down. Lynn, what are you taking from this exercise?
Well, I mean, I certainly agree. The story, it connects you in how it connects to what's being told in your own experience and makes it the person real, and you can understand their mission and their experience behind it, and and also not holding back on sharing your credibility, but using it as a demonstration of what's possible and what you've created that will serve them. I mean, I'm playing with stuff because I'm trying to figure out structure of certain things, but I'll figure it out.
It's good. You pointed to something that's important is the social proof and authority has to be there. So we can't skip it, right? But it's a footnote. A lot of times people will use a whole bunch of the evidence because they think that's what people want to hear. That like people don't care about that stuff. They care only to the degree where it's like, okay, I can see you are who you say you are. But in reality, they want to connect to you as a human. So yes, we anchor with some of the evidence, some of the measurables, but once that's out of the way, we want to get to the story of why you are the person to listen to, the story of it, of who you've helped, the story of it, why this matters to you so much, the story of it. Really, really great work there.
And
Penny. Oh,
can
go
I
ahead,
ask,
Lynn. Sorry.
sorry, just in within like the passion purpose, I mean, I'll try to figure this out, but there is the facet of my own story, but there's a facet of the people I've worked story that really kind of mirrors and then what's possible for them. I can tell both, right? Because it's showing what's a specific story of transformation and why that matters.
It
Yes?
depends. So when we get into looking at yours, what we'll find is that it may, this is what I'm guessing. There's going to be a moment where speaking created something for you. And then there's the moments where you began to do this thing called training other people to speak, and there was what was possible for them. And depending on how compelling that the story is about you, like that origin story moment, we may or may not include it. We went deeper into Melissa's origin story moment, the personal side of it, because it was just so compelling. Like it's literally life or death. So it kind of depends on the situation, but we want to keep the stories as tight as we can. So if it's necessary and it adds a lot of depth, then yes. But if it doesn't, and the juice is really on when you have the moment that you started to see this is possible for other people, then we'll lean in there. Yep. Penny, what'd you take from it?
That I guess I can go deeper in what I've already written.
Mhm. Say a little bit more about that.
Um, I guess for me and how my business got started, I can go a little deeper than what I wrote. I gave the cute version, but it's a more serious version as to my why I do what I do.
Hmm.
But also it's just as important as to why I'm having the advisory group. That's important too, because I didn't get the help. I wished I would have gotten help along this journey, but I did everything by myself. And so it wasn't a program that I knew of that was available to help me get to where I got to. And so I can also tell a part of that story as to my why I want to help someone else, but also the why I started my brand in the first place.
So Penny, when you think about the reason why, you can also go, so it's not just well, no one was there for me. There's a reason why you care. There's a lot of people who no one was there for them. There's a lot of people who had to do it on their own. Everybody doesn't decide that they're going to go back and extend a hand to all the folks coming behind them that don't have the resources. So really look within yourself and try to figure out, why do I care? Everybody doesn't care.
Mhm. Okay.
And that may go back to your origin for the brand. They may be kind of one and the same, of why you started the brand, and then why you care so much that other people don't have it. That might be part of the story. I don't know. But
Okay.
really dig in there. Don't just settle for, I didn't have it, so I wanted other people to have it. There's a reason why you care that other people didn't have it. That's really what we want to get to.
Okay.
All right, great work, y'all. I want to touch on some other things. If you look, I'm going to direct you back to the agenda. Nope, that's not it. There we go. All right, I'm going to share this. If you don't have it open, because I don't see any of y'all on the agenda right now, I'm going to drop this in the link so you can follow along directly. And y'all jump on here because I want to make sure that you see where the homework is and all that. I'll share my screen. Okay, y'all can see my screen, right? All right, we just worked through the invitation announcement video script. uh, all of this stuff is what we detail. Here's the homework that I want y'all to work on. We just did the first version of the script. Some of y'all I work with directly. Some of y'all watched me work, but we're doing version one of this. So if we didn't do a whole lot of work with me working on yours, because I'm not going to work with everybody one-to-one on everything. This is meant to be a group training where some people you'll get me working on your stuff in one section. Other days I might work more with another person in another section. But the Q&A is the opportunity for you to share those questions, but also if I don't get to you in the Q&A, drop your questions into the actual question tracker, which you can find right here. There's a link directly to it. And this, all the way to the left, this big yellow section here, you can just click here, and this takes you to the page where you can drop your questions in. And then I'll answer them either on the next call or inside the Facebook group. But your homework for tonight is to finish up your full invitation announcement video script. And you should have already done this. You made a copy, you updated your first and last name, you copied the link to it in column R. If y'all just follow this homework line by line, it's impossible to miss anything. You have gone through, you fill out the passion purpose section, include the conditional invitation section. So once you've finished your script fully, which is by end of day today, so finish your first draft of it. This evening, I want you to record version one of your special offer invitation overview video. And I want to be very clear about my instructions here. So where I'm telling you to put it, I'm telling you to put it here intentionally, not Zoom, not anywhere else. Upload it to YouTube as an unlisted video. All right, don't record it on your phone, record it on your desktop. Upload it to YouTube as an unlisted video. I do not care about about ahs. I do not care if it's perfect. I don't need you to edit it. I don't need you to do anything other than go through and record your first version. I just want you to get the thing done and get the rust off, delivering it to camera and be able to drop it in the group and get feedback from others. That's all I want you to do. That's what we're doing for version one. So you'll do that. You'll upload it to YouTube as an unlisted video, and then you're going to share the link for that unlisted video from YouTube directly into our Google Sheet tracker right here in um, right here in column T is where you'll share that video from YouTube, excuse me, after you have finished version 1 of your script in full. Everybody clear what I'm saying about that? Yep. Okay, great. Next, let's keep going here. I want to talk you through really quick the hot list. And let me actually do a couple things before that, because these other things are quick. Evidence. As it relates to the evidence around your offers that you've produced. And what I call evidence, I mean any sort of testimonials or interviews or case studies or text messages that you've gotten from clients or emails that you've gotten, literally anything that you've got that's from clients or that's from external media partners, whatever, where people have said, well, you're really good at what you do. We should tell people about this. Or I want to tell you about this. Get it all. And if it's a text message, screenshot the text. If it's an email, screenshot the email. If it's a case study document, grab the link. You're going to drop all of those materials into a subfolder that you'll make specifically for your evidence inside of your 5-day ATM folder. Okay, so in that Google Drive folder, again, I want you to go back and find any text messages from clients, any emails, any case studies, any interviews you've done with them, any media features, anything that counts as any sort of like case study that says you're good at this thing that you do. And I want you to drop links to it directly into, or upload the documents directly into that Google Drive folder. Everybody clear? Any question at all? All right. Some of y'all will have an easier time than others. If you're like most of us, then you're going to find that, well, you got a few things over here and you got something over here, and you probably should have posted these things a long time ago, but you really haven't. And so this exercise forces you to get everything all in one place. And later on in the process, I'll tell you how we leverage these things for our live presentation and all that stuff. Right now, we want to collect the evidence. All right, so that's just kind of grunt work. There's no storytelling I need to tell you about that. Once you've done that, put it in the Google, the 5-day ATM folder, a subfolder inside a 5-day ATM just for that stuff. All right. Now let's talk about hot list versus general list. 5-day ATM is first and foremost a 5-day rapid special offer campaign for your warm audience. And when I say warm audience, I mean people who are on your subscription list for emails and texts in your CRM, if you have a CRM database. If you don't, that's fine. People who follow you on social media are also part of your warm audience. And the third bucket is people who are your personal and business contacts right in your cell phone. So many people will say, well, I don't have a customer list. I don't have an audience. You have humans right here in your cell phone who know what you do, some of them better than others. Mostly, we don't know how to create a way to activate the people who are right here in our phone toward a purchase or toward a referral of a perfect fit person. We can't ask them for help or direct them to take an action unless we're really, really clear about what we're doing, or else like they're going to ignore. But once we get clear, there's an opportunity to do that, and that is what we do with 5-day ATM. So I'm going to walk you through the hot list structure and how we actually do this. On your Google Sheet tracker here, this section is our hot list section. This campaign is broken into hot list versus your general list. Hot list, I'm going to open this sheet up here. This is the only document here. All right, I want y'all to hear me. This sheet here is the only document that once you make your duplicate, you're still going to drop it into your column here, but you're not going to share this. You're not going to make this shareable for everybody. It's still going to be stay restricted. The reason why is this will contain the real phone numbers and email addresses of your contacts. So we don't want to share that with the whole group, but you will share the link to it for tracking, because this is your central area to track everything related to the program. All right, so you're going to hit this file, you're going to make a copy, and you're going to drop your link in here, but keep it restricted. Now, if you want to still give me edit privileges so that I have direct access to being able to see your notes and stuff like that and be able to help you with that, that's totally up to you. That's not something that I make a requirement. What I will say is that there probably is utility for you to have me view your sheet to make sure that you're doing it right. But that's your choice. I'm not going to have you be forced to do that. So you do that. That's step number one. When you open this sheet up, here's what you'll see. Your hot list is broken up into 4 categories. Okay. You are going to go through your cell phone, and y'all, I apologize in advance. This is an exercise that, it's tedious. There's no way around it. There's no shortcuts. You're going to open your cell phone and go from A to Z, and you're going to look at each contact manually and determine whether or not they go onto your hot list. This is not something that you can skip through. You don't work your way around it. There's no shortcut. There's no AI for it, because AI can't determine, when they look at a contact, it can't determine for you whether or not you remember if you have a warm relationship with that person. This is not you reaching out to your whole list. You're going to find that after you've done this exercise, you've got anywhere between a few dozen to a few hundred tops people who are going to be on your hot list, because your hot list of folks who you have a warm relationship with, it is a trusted relationship. And when they see your number pop up on their phone, they're going to say, oh my goodness, Kim, it's been so long. It's so good to hear from. That's hot list. If they are going to do any version of, who is this? Kim who? They're not hot list. This is not for general people. They go on your general list. We already got them covered with our emails to our general list. Hot list is for people you have warm, trusted relationships with. As we go through our cell phones, starting with A, literally going down name to name, ending up at Z, they're going to fit in one of 4 categories. They're either going to be a perfect fit. This is a person who you think they are your exact ideal customer avatar or client, and you have a personal relationship with them. The only way we can do this exercise well is if we've done the work on the front end with customer avatar to make sure we've got a narrowly defined avatar. If it's general, you're not going to be able to do this well, which is why I've been pressing at you all week. So the perfect fit is, again, there's somebody who you think they're a perfect, exact, ideal customer or client based on how you've defined your customer avatar, and you have a personal relationship with them. Number 2 is a person who's a center of influence. We're not inviting this person to our program. We're requesting a referral from them. There's somebody who, based on affiliations or associations or group they lead or participate in, they have a trusted relationship with lots of folks, dozens, hundreds, or thousands of people who are your perfect fit prospect, who already look to that person for guidance, for recommendations. And I want to be clear about this. This is not an influencer, right? They may be an influencer, but that's not the definition. I'm not telling you to go find influencers. This is not a generally influential person in business in general. This is a center of influence in your specific industry for this thing that you're launching, that they have trusted relationships with dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of your perfect fit person, right? Not an influencer, not a generally influential person, center of influence in your industry with trusted relationships. Everybody clear on that so far? All right, and we're not asking them for several referrals. We're going to ask for one, because if we ask them to look into their database and refer us a few people, they're not going to do any. If we ask them for one, they'll give us 5. That's generally how it works, if we keep it simple. Number 3 is you'll find people who they fit in the expressed interest category. That's somebody who they're an individual who at some point has said, you know what, Lynn, oh my goodness, I'm not sure when it's going to be, but our energy is just so well aligned and I love what you do. I want to work with you. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be, but I definitely want to work with you on this speaking thing at some point. Like, they've definitively expressed interest in working with you around this thing. Okay. And so this has to be, they've said it before. The last person, possibly a fit. This is somebody who we're actually not sure whether or not they're a perfect fit, but we think they are. Maybe we haven't checked in a while. And it's kind of like, based on what I know about this person and what I've seen them work on, I feel like what I'm doing right now will be a really good fit for them. We don't know for sure, but we think. We think it'll be good. Those are the four categories. So as you go through your cell phone from A to Z and do this exercise, everybody's not going to fit. Most of the people in your phone are not going to fit because we are narrowly defining our customer avatar for this program. Most people are not going to fit. You're going to find anywhere between a few dozen to, again, tops a few hundred people who go on this list in one of four buckets: perfect fit, center of influence, expressed interest, or possibly a fit. If any of y'all come back and you've got a couple dozen folks who are centers of influence, I'll know immediately that you're either looking at generally influential people or influencers, because it's really rare that somebody's got more than tops like 6 or 7 folks who lead whole communities, who lead whole organizations that have tens, dozens, or hundreds or thousands of your exact person. It just doesn't really work out like that. Usually there's 2 or 3. At best, 6 or 7. You got to be one of the most connected people. If you start getting into 10 plus, good for you, but I just haven't seen. It's just very rare. So if that is you, then document it, and then we'll poke around and see. All right, but that is the exercise. And uh, there's only 2 ways to do it. You literally go through your phone in A to Z, or you can export your contact list to like an Excel sheet and then look at it that way. But if you do the second, I want to warn you, I don't want you to do this work outside of this Google Sheet. Don't go and do a bunch of work on an Excel sheet for you to then upload later. Don't do that. Go one contact at a time, and every contact edit the contact information right here on the sheet, then move to your next contact. Then put it on the sheet, then move to your next contact. Also, don't go and upload your whole contact sheet to this Google Sheet and then try to delete people one at a time, because that will mess up the flow as well. Because if you leave that sheet at any point in time, oh, where did I leave off at? If you look at that sheet, man, it's 3,000 people left. There's 400 people left versus from a brain science perspective, you will see your progress if you leave the sheet blank and add one at a time. So all of this, I got whole considerations for why I have you do it this way. Don't go and try to recreate the wheel. One at a time. It's manual. You can't skip it. But this process will unlock so much money. A few things are going to happen. You'll find people on your list that you cannot believe you haven't talked to. Like, this person, they were so valuable to me, and I was so valuable to them. Why have I not been in contact? You'll find those. You'll find people who have no business still being in your contact list at all. And you'll start to clean that out. And you'll also begin to get clearer and more confident in your offer as you see the number of folks who are a really, really good fit for you that you just hadn't really thought about launching to. So that's the exercise. Once we get to it, there is a script that I've got for exactly how to activate your hot list in a very particular way. And when I say is line item, the exact time, and you don't have to figure out any of it. All these 4 categories are here at the top of this document. And as you scroll down, there is a context-specific script for each one of these different buckets that include the text message and the email follow-up and what timing it happens and all that. Don't worry about any of this. I'm showing this to you only so you know that for this very manual kind of warm outreach campaign, there's a specific way that I have you do it. Don't get into the details of this yet. But the reason why people are able to generate the kind of outcomes they generate going through this warm network campaign is because most of us only are depending on like our general emails and our general texts. We don't have a process for activating our warm network, the people who really love us, who really enjoy us, who trust us, who also are like, I knew that's what you did, but I didn't know that that's what you did. Like, I didn't know these stories. We want to get them into the ecosystem for this launch campaign. And it's why we're able to activate and generate so much immediate momentum so quickly directly from our warm audience. This is how I've been able to help people do it. So we're a few minutes over. If y'all got a few more minutes, I want to show y'all something really quick to let you know what is possible inside of going through this hot list process. It's one of the case study videos from a woman named April Prayer. She's a very well recognized, this isn't it, very well recognized defense attorney here in Chicago. And what's it? ATM. No, I know what it is. Dash EG, I think. And she was doing this work for a long time for free because she just didn't think that she could get paid. She was going and doing the kind of training that she does. And she went through 5-day ATM and was able to generate 40,000 in contracts inside of 7 days. And she sells to nonprofits, school boards, and stuff like that. She doesn't sell to other entrepreneurs. Just like this. If this is slow, I'll just go to YouTube. I do have a lot of tabs open. Okay. Playlists. Let's go to testimonials.
I was like, no way I'm gonna be able to sit up here and talk for.
Not this one. I could have sworn I uploaded this. I may have to go into Wistia. All right, let's do that. I don't know what it is when I'm leading these Zooms and I have tabs open. My videos are so super slow to load. So thank y'all for your patience on that. Let me stop sharing just a second. Get this going.
The most pleasant surprise I got was one conversation led to a $40,000 contract, and that was coming straight out the gate right after your class. My name is April Prayer, and I am a criminal defense attorney, and I have been for 24 years. But I have also created a board game and the curriculum around it, which teaches teens how to stay safe during a police stop and how to stay out of jail. I was pretty much doing one and done workshops for nonprofits. I had done a number of seminars online for parents. But again, these were one and done. They were 45 minutes to 90 minutes long. I had done that for 2 solid years for exactly a whopping $0. I didn't really have much of a desire to start contracting with schools to do my curriculum. I didn't really see an avenue to do that. You saw that there was a way that I could do live programs for administrators, for teachers, in addition to teens. Because you were like, what are you doing? Why aren't you doing this as a full blown course? Why aren't you doing this as a variety of courses? Why don't you have these offerings? I was just pretty much trusting your vision. My first contract ever in a school district for my curriculum, and it was for $40,000. And that happened as a result. So in your course, initially what I started doing was seminars for administrators to tell them all the ways they are messing up and setting kids up for the school to prison pipeline. So then they say, oh my goodness, we need her services. And then they bring me in for my curriculum for the kids, the staff, etc.
And so I started doing those. I did 2 digitally, 1 in person. I don't have people in my immediate network who are superintendents of schools. So I had to get creative and start reaching out to people. And this was all a part of the course. Who can you talk to who might know somebody in that position? So I reached out to a high school friend. I did not know what he did for a living. I just knew he did something with nonprofits. Turns out the nonprofit he runs is the one that was created by Michelle Obama. I did not know that. And so I reached out to him. We had 1 meal. He makes 1 phone call. That first phone call turns into that $40,000 contract. So that was one measurable outcome that I got. The other one was a woman who I had never met before, contacted a friend of mine and was talking about she needed a program for teenagers. She wasn't sure what to do. A friend of ours had just been in my event for administrators. He said, oh, hey, you should talk to my girl April. That also led to about a $25,000 contract because she went and started getting grants. The grant money she would then split with me and pay me to do the work I had previously been doing for free for nonprofits, churches, and schools. So those were 2 results that I did not anticipate that led to $60,000 or more as a result of this course.
So that's a direct result from this hot list process that I'm talking about with y'all. These were not people that April had in mind at all. She just didn't even remember this high school person. It's just kind of like, oh, I remember him. I think he's doing something in nonprofit. I'm generally talking to nonprofit folks. Maybe it's a fit. He went under her like maybe a fit. No idea that this person's super well connected, 1 degree away, 1 phone call, $40,000 later for a program she'd been doing for free for 2 years. That's the value of this hot list. So even though it's going to be tedious, even though it will take some time, I want y'all to try to get to letter M by the end of the day to today, sit down, go through it. There's no way around it. And by the end of the day tomorrow, we want you to be 100% complete because I don't want to go into Friday with you still kind of working through your list. I want us to firmly just be working on our stories and stuff like that tomorrow, and then for sure at the end of the day on Friday. But that's the hot list process. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you about that. No. So it is one of the most valuable parts of this whole training. And it looks so simple, right? It's such a simple thing to do. It's manual. But once you unlock that, you're going to realize, because we're all high performing professionals and entrepreneurs, you're going to realize you have so many high quality people that are in your network, in your phone, that you just haven't even thought about in ages. And they're going to be happy to hear from you. And when you give them a clear, concise invitation to take part in this thing or to share this thing with one person, you're going to find that a number of them are going to press some momentum your way. And it's an exciting thing to find that the folks who you know are like, wow, they really are liking this. Your confidence grows, you get more excited. So it's a great exercise in a lot of different ways. But that's the hot list. Any questions about that hot list process that I just walked you through?
I'm sure it may be on the document. Is there a certain number we're targeting to put on that list? I know.
Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go through your entire phone from A to Z, and the number that you have is the number that you have. So if you end up with a couple dozen people who are either, and again, these are the categories, they're either a perfect fit, they are a center of influence, they've expressed interest, or they're possibly a fit. There's no target. The target is go to through your whole phone A to Z. And once you're done, you're going to have the number that you have that fit in that bucket. And you're unlikely to have more than at most a few hundred. Most people have a few dozen. Sometimes it's a little bit more than that. But this is people who are warm, who you have very, very warm personal relationship with. It's a trusted relationship. They're going to see your name and say, Melissa, so good to hear from you. What's up? They're happy to hear from you. That's your hot list, and they need to fit in these 4 categories for this particular offer. Just given what you do, you may have one of the larger hot lists, but
Mobile, remember my phone is black, so I can't see anything in it. I can answer it, but I don't know who I'm answering. So I'm gonna go down there and get this phone together because I got to get this list done. So
But you should also be able to get into your contacts. So if you go to, like, if you have a Gmail, Google Contacts, you can go to contacts.google.com and you should still be able to get to your contact list that way.
good thing to so contacts that okay, gotcha. Perfect.
Contacts.google.com. Any other
Perfect.
questions about the hot list show?
It's not bad if we have a lot more than you're saying to
No, it's
put in.
wonderful. Yeah, if you have, it's just given the nature of relationship, it usually is unlikely. I've been doing this for a long time. I've never had somebody have more than a few hundred people when we get into it who are actually hot list. When we get into it, if they've got like, oh, got like 700, usually it ends up being people who are honestly general database, who if they saw them in person, it'd be like, oh, hey, good to see you. But they're not like personal relationship where you spent real time. They're happy to hear from you. They're willing and ready to bend over backwards for you because you have a real relationship. That's hot list. It's like a different depth of relationship. But if you've got hundreds and hundreds, awesome. You're going to be in a great position.
Oh, that's great. I just pulled up my contacts from one of my email drives. That's great. Now,
Yeah.
is that related to your phone or just anything with email and that phone that's attached to the drive?
Well, I don't know how you do your phone. With my contacts on my phone, anytime I save a new contact, as I'm saving them, my phone gives me the opportunity. Do I want to save to my phone or do I want to save to Google? I always save to Google so
Right.
that it's backed up automatically.
Yeah. No, I have quite a few thousand. That's what I was wondering if they're all. I have to look for phone numbers. So they would have a phone number in there too if it's saved from your phone when you're going through the list.
Well, so you can save contacts without a phone number, even on your cell phone. Usually, if you save them in your phone, you generally have a phone number too, but some of them won't have. Now, what
Gotcha.
I will say is this is a text message anchored campaign for your hot list.
Gotcha.
So if you want to make sure that for as many of these people as possible, like these are folks who you got a phone number for. And usually, if they're a hot list person, you have a phone number for them. A
Right.
good, a good, a good barometer for whether or not somebody may not be hot list is if you don't even have their cell phone number. So that's a way to think about it. But usually we have a cell phone number and we also get the email because it's a text first to anchor it. And then we follow up via email. Don't worry about how the campaign works. Just know we want phone numbers for these people and add their email address too. Okay. All right. So that is, I think, all I'm going to cover for today. Let me look back on here and see for tomorrow. That'll leave us with 2 days of heavy story. We'll do a little bit more on offer tomorrow, probably some more on offer on Friday too. Got your invitation overview video. You'll get to how to
When we
get to
go back over the
list
okay.
for today on your hot list. Um, we will start on the campaign stories on tomorrow and do those on Friday as well. You're getting your start on your testimonial case studies. Yeah, we're in good shape. Yep. So the homework for now, and then we'll wrap and I'll check in and see if you for your last insights and any final questions. You're going to start on your hot list. Try to get to M on your hot list for today, okay? Try to get to M on your hot list. Excuse me. I've already told you about your invitation announcement video. Your job is to finish version one of your video and your video script and record it, upload to YouTube, then drop the links into the Facebook group and then onto the Google Sheet tracker. Start on your hot list. We're going to get to the vivid storytelling overview tomorrow instead of today. And we're going to also start on campaign stories tomorrow instead of today. So I'll take these two pieces out of the homework for today, and we're just going to put those into the document for tomorrow to start. And that's your homework. Don't worry about this progress part of check-in stuff either. That's sometimes I have people do it. Other times when I want to spend the majority of the time with us just working, I just don't really go through it, especially if people are kind of in and out on calls. We've had a couple people join. I had one person who wasn't going to be in, who was going to be in it, who couldn't be in it. So this is just an extra added thing where I have people kind of check in. So 60-second check in at the end of the day on your person to just see, hey, did you finish your homework? It's just a ping that sometimes is helpful. You guys can feel free to do that, but not something that's mandatory at all. All right, what questions do you have, if any?
Do we have each other's contact information, Thomas?
Yeah, it's not something that you need to do via cell phone.
We have email. Do we have everyone's email?
You're all in the Facebook group together.
Just in the group. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So that's if you want to share direct contact information, fine to do. But some people don't prefer to do that, which is why I want everybody in the Facebook group to be able to connect with each other there. All right. Any other questions?
When do we need to have the buyer, whatnot, the page, whatever, landing page where we're making the sales from, sorry, I'm super tired. The landing page where we make the sales from done by and having that looked at,
You don't
can
need to worry
finish
about that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll touch back on that when it's time.
I'm
Every
just wondering if I, can Mhm.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I'm just wondering if I need to get my team on it so they link it up, because I got to give them like a day or two and
Version one of it is yesterday to just get a version of. So I did click on yours and it just went to a login page, right?
oh, you
It wasn't
couldn't.
like a link to the actual public page.
Huh.
So you don't need to worry about having everything final because your offer isn't final. So I'm not worried about checkout page being final yet. We'll get more into that as we get closer to Friday. And your offer doesn't go live until next Friday. So that is a very low priority item in terms of having like the checkout page perfect. Much more higher priority items are making sure our stories are tight. But I do want to make sure that you get version one of it online, your checkout page, so that we know that any tech issues you're thinking about, like we know what needs to be there to have the bones of the page up. But there's
Yeah.
no concern about timing on that stuff. I'll let you know everything you need uh,
Hmm.
in order to get the stuff done on time. And you can also look forward on the calendar invites too, if you want to see what days, what things take place on what days.
Now, the only other question I have is, so this week I was going to be reaching out to people on Hot List for something similar to this offer that we're doing. And I kind of have to with in one regard because of just a, cash flow gap and I'm just like, gosh, to what degree do I don't know, um, pre-do some of that list by just getting that handled. And I don't even know how I'm going to have that time because I haven't had time these last 2 days. And, I'm not sending out to the emails and things I was planning on. I had it all good to go before, and I'm waiting to follow this process. But I have to do some action towards that. And I'm just curious to what degree is that okay to
You can't answer
reach?
that question for you. You can't
Okay.
there's no good way to do two campaigns at one time. So you got to
Not a
choose.
campaign, it's a direct reach out, just
Yeah,
saying it.
it still is a
Beware.
campaign. So you may not think of it as a campaign. Outreach is a campaign.
Okay.
Texting, email, anything that we're doing deliberately timed out to try to move people toward an outcome, that's a campaign. And so, because you're doing a couple different things, you just have to choose. I'm going to keep saying over and over, one butt, one horse. So tough decisions. But if you think that it's going to make sense to go through this whole process fully, great. If you don't think it makes sense, you need to interrupt and segment off your list. That's a choice that you got to just kind of make.
Got it. Okay.
No good answer for it, though.
All good.
All
Just
right.
circle.
So as we wrap up today, y'all, we are at the midpoint. It's been 3 days. We've covered a ton of ground. Covered a ton of ground. We got into storytelling just a bit today, but we didn't really go through the storytelling framework, which we'll go through tomorrow. But y'all got a dose of it. Y'all saw me kind of speaking in present tense when I'm crafting the story. You saw me looking for vivid details in crafting the story. The three elements of really vivid storytelling I'm going to tell you all about tomorrow are start in the middle of the story, speak in present tense, and use vivid detail. So we're not going to go into that much today, but you saw some of that today. Um, we covered a lot. So just as we wrap up, I want to check in. What are some of the biggest things that that you're taking away from today? Penny, let's start with you. What are some of the biggest things that you're taking away that you think are going to be useful for you moving forward?
For me, for today, it would be crafting a good story, becoming a good storyteller. Um, I, which is also different from me pitching. Sometimes I get the two confused as I'm speaking and sound like I'm pitching rather than just speaking from the heart and telling my story. It's a difference. And so I've also been told that I sound kind of robotic, like I'm reading, but it's actually in my head. And I'm so used to speaking to them, the retail buyers, in a certain way. It's not the same as speaking to another human being that's interested in what I'm doing.
Hmm.
And so as I do my video tonight, I have to keep that in mind and talking like I'm talking to my daughter or talking to my friend or someone I'm meeting at a network event versus me trying to get my product on the shelf is different. And sometimes I do intertwine the two, and I sound really robotic as I am speaking. And I'm trying my best not to do that. My daughter told me when I do that, people can't relate to me. I don't become relatable. And so it's practice. I'm still working through it. I'm definitely not a pro at it because I do more pitching to get my product on the shelf than talking to actual humans about what it is that I do and why I love what I do.
What do you think is gonna, so I hear you saying my intention is to be like
Speak
less
from the heart.
robotic and become more like from a tactic standpoint, strategy standpoint, what do you hear as the opportunity that's going to have you sound more relatable, sound less robotic? What do you hear is going to shift in how you speak? What is it?
As if the person is right in front of me and I'm having a conversation. Be more conversational.
Hmm. How?
I'm speaking from the heart. Maybe I have to practice with my daughter, which I normally do. And she'd be like, Mama, nope, nope, do it again, do it again. And so it's her really guiding me on, okay, I really felt it that time, that it's more from the heart than me reading from a piece of paper or a script. So even though I know that we wrote the script out, I don't want to sound like I'm reading from that script. And that's normally how I sound, like I'm reading from a piece of paper. But I've practiced those piece of paper so many times and doing pitches, you almost can't tell. If you didn't see me face to face, you're really thinking I'm reading from a script, but it's what I memorized in my head. But I do want it to sound more conversational.
That's good. You touched on vulnerability. So speaking from the heart, that's one of the big things. The reason I was pressing for how is a lot of times like we'll have an intention for something, but we don't know how to have that intention show up. Being vulnerable inside of sharing your actual stories, not pitching, like you said, but actually sharing stories. And when you share stories, one tool, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, that makes a huge difference. If you speak in present tense when you're telling your story, it goes from you describing something to you putting the person in the room with you. What I mean by that is like in Melissa's story, when she could say, you know what, I remember that I was in the doctor's office and he came in and they told me I was fine. That's different. That's describing something. That's different than saying, I'm in the emergency room. Doctor walks in. They look at the EKG. They say my vitals are fine, right? It's the same situation, but we're
But
speaking
she's speaking
present.
like it's happening in that moment.
Yes. And when you speak in
Mm.
present tense, because I'm not a naturally good storyteller at all. I'm like left brain and right brain. I'm an engineer. But when I get to start telling a story, I want to give you all of those random details because I think you need all those details when in reality, the best stories, they start right in the middle. Like they leave out all the context and you're having to lean in like, wait, what's going on? And if somebody, we all have that old uncle or cousin, and the way that they talk. And so the guy walks in the door, right? And so that's how they talk. They speak in present tense. They're not doing it on purpose. That's just how they speak. They're great storytellers. I don't do that. I
Mhm.
describe stuff. I have to remind myself, speak in present tense when I'm telling stories. it makes your stories way more vivid. And when you add in detail, it makes them more vivid. So we'll talk through that. But those are some of the ways to have what you're sharing feel conversational, feel natural, because I'm kind of robotic in moments where I get really passionate, like because I want to hit all the points. But when I slow down and I get connected with the other person,
Slow down.
their
Yeah.
stories, and do it in
Slow
present
down.
tense, it's so much more relatable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Melissa, what are you taking from today?
A lot of great nuggets. One I'm super excited about when you said the hot list, and then I had to go to the Google Drive to download my list. I mean, I have like all these categories because I guess I save people based on the company I met them in. So that's great. But just being able to go back to some of the beginnings, we used to always do hot lists. That was one of the ways we built our brand, we built our business, we built our customers. But you sometimes get out of the element in which help take you to that level. So I'm excited because I'm looking at this list right now and I'm like, man, I'm going to find some great people to put on the hot list that I haven't talked to, but they know me very well. And I know that some of them are center of influences. So that spreadsheet is better than a phone. So I guess having my phone go black happened for a purpose because this spreadsheet is letting me organize things now so I can properly do this. So we might all want to download our Google Docs phone contacts. Never knew you can do that. So that was awesome. Yeah.
Good. It's the simple things, right?
Simple things. Yeah.
Basics. Lynn, what are some of the key takeaways for you from today at this point in the process, halfway through? You're on mute.
I was thinking you were talking to her, Melissa because it was specifically Android, but with an iPhone, is that a thing too? With all the connection contacts, you could put it in a spreadsheet versus the contacts on the desktop?
I'm pretty sure that Android, I mean that iPhone has some sort of export. I just know with Google
Oh,
Contact,
got
you can
it.
just
Okay.
do google.contacts.com, contacts.google.com. I don't know, if you currently have like a Google contacts that you use, but um worth a try, I guess. I feel like some people still have a Google contacts list who have iPhones.
I just tried it. I only had 9 people on there because I have an iPhone. And I'm
There
like,
you go.
9 people?
But
You
I
know,
do have people who've gone through it who've exported from their phone.
and I was going to say too, though, I have a lot of, because I know at different phases of my life, I changed, my Google Drive. So the first one I downloaded and tried to log into, there was only a few contacts, but then I logged into my Melissa Boston 2020, which was like an older email. And that's when like the lion's share of my contacts came up. So I'm going to go through all of my Google Drive just to see if there's more that might be saved under a different, because you know how it lets you do multiple logins when you save your contact. And from years, sometimes we change our emails. So it's only going to be attached to the email in which you saved it.
Hmm.
So Lynn, takeaways for the day. Wrap us up.
Hmm. It's gonna be another long day into the night with no sleep. I've got like 10,000 contacts. I've got like, and whatever. I'm just like, okay. But that's okay. I'm here to whatever this is meant to bring forward, and I get to tell the story on the other side. So story-wise, I'm figuring it out. Um, yeah, I'm along for the ride and all in.
Got it. Well, glad you're along for the ride. And I'm also glad that you're in the driver's seat of your experience. And whatever it's going to be for you is what you choose for it to be. I know that all of y'all are looking at this like Lynn's looking at it, where this is a once in a, however, I won't call it lifetime, but it is an interruptive experience to sit down for hours on end for 5 days and really just dig into your business, every aspect of who you're serving, why you're serving them. Is that who you want to be serving? What's your offer? What are your stories to move these people from prospect to purchase? This is a unique moment in time. And I know you're tired. I know it's going to take time, but this is your choice to dig in fully and take it on. And don't leave any rock unturned at all. You got a moment in time, and people have generated 6 figures in days inside of this. People have done five figures in days. People have done four figures in days. And all of that depends on your network, and it also depends on your offer. But if you actually spend the time doing it, you will make money. You will make money doing this if you put in the time. So great investment. I'm here with you the entire time. Y'all do what you need to do. If you have any questions, make sure that you drop them in that questions document that I showed you on the Google Sheet, because I like to make sure I answer them where it's public so that everybody gets the coaching. Don't want to really do too much like text message because everybody doesn't get the coaching. Drop your questions in that form. All right, y'all. If there's anything else, I'll look to hear from you. If not, I will see you tomorrow. Great
Oh,
job today, everybody.
one other thing. Are we doing stuff on our social media as well? Because I have a lot of uh, close connections, even where I may not have their email or their phone number, but in social media. And, so is there a way with that?
You can think of social media as a DM if that's where you truly do like a lot of communication with that person. But if you have a cell phone number for them, we want to use the cell.
Yeah, ideally. I just want to make sure that, because I have a lot to call from just the Facebook type of facet. But okay, got it.
Add another column if you want to for
Ah,
Facebook memes, if that's your primary route of communication.
okay, awesome.
Okay, talk to y'all tomorrow.